Yeah, some really good chili.
Well, it's pretty damn chili.
Not bad.
Yeah, I can even eat it without the little crackers. I really love the little oyster crackers. They're so cute.
He's not kidding. He won't even eat a soup without them. What's he?
Gather round, everyone. Gather round. Let's get started. As always, hello. I'm Dr. Lecter. Not only am I your doctor, but I'm a member. And speaking of members, we have a special guest with us today. Some of you know him. He was a member of the first ever group here at the Institute with Mr. Bates and myself, Mr. Jedediah Sawyer, or Leatherface. Isn't that what you prefer?
Oh, well, most people call me Bubba. I like Bubba. That guy's already cooked. Can I eat his face?
What the fuck?
Now, you do kind of smell like bacon.
Shut up, asshole. God.
No, Jedediah. That is a member of our group. His name is Frederick. And I'm sure you still remember the rules.
Yes, we're not allowed to eat other members. I hate that rule.
That's right. So, as you all may have assumed, Jedediah has a bit of an eating disorder, much like myself, and it's causing him a lot of issues with authorities and cars piling up. We had a breakthrough for Mr. Sawyer, where it would make more sense for his family to wait for buses full of people to restock their freezer at the family restaurant instead of individual cars and trucks at a time. How has that been working out, Jedediah?
Well, great, actually. We fill it up in 1 or 2 hauls instead of bunches and bunches, and it's a lot easier to get rid of a bus or 2 instead of tons of cars and trucks.
Where there's a will, there is a way. And that's what we're here for, to help. And I see you all are enjoying Jedediah's chili. It's from his family restaurant.
What the fuck? Oh.
What? Tastes okay to me. You guys find a peppercorn in it? I hate peppercorns. They get stuck in my mask.
It's people.
Huh? Really? Well, you're just trying to trick me.
No, seriously. It's people.
You fella. I know what a peppercorn looks like. Duh.
Whatever, dude. Can you believe this guy? Homie won't even eat hot dogs because they got the word dog in the title because he thinks he's eating dogs. I'm just glad I had Culver's on the way over.
It's a secret family recipe.
So, you're from down south?
Yes, sirree. Texas. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from down south too. Much, much farther down south. From a place called Hell.
Oh, is that anywhere near Dallas? You're prickly.
Oh my God. Why did I eat so much fucking chili?
Is he like a green demon or something? I mean, it shouldn't really bother you. I
Probably
got rid of the
right.
fucking doll.
It's probably just because I was surprised is all. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
Yeah, I know he tricked you too.
No. I'm married, remember?
Would you like to hear a joke?
Yeah, I like jokes. They're funny.
Do you know why you must buy so many shoes in hell?
I don't know. Why?
Because it tears your souls apart. Because it's hot. I don't get it. No, well, it plays like gangbusters in hell. Believe me.
Jedediah, how would you like to join me for something to eat?
Sure, Dr. Lecter, but are you sure I can't eat that little feller over there before we go? Kind of like an appetizer.
What the fuck did he just say? Now, Jedediah, you know that's against the rules. Besides, he's plastic.
Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. How's everybody doing? It's Friday night. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. It's after midnight most places, so I figured, fuck it, we're going to go live. That's right. How's everybody doing out there? I got a couple of people with me. I got Jeff, the rookie critic, and I got Christy, who you might recognize from her own channel or from always modding around with the blue wrench. How you doing?
I'm sorry.
That cartoon was adorable, Tom.
love it.
There's 2 more, but I don't know if you've seen the other ones. But
Damn, that was funny. I'm howling, laughing. I was snorting. I was laughing so loud. Oh man, that's great. Good. How are you, Tom? Thank you for inviting us.
I'm doing the best I can. I'm bored. I shouldn't be bored. I should probably be working, but I figured, you know what? Doomcock just got done streaming, and I was watching him, and I was watching Gary and those guys a little bit earlier. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go live. Yeah, it looks like a couple people decided to join us.
Hell yeah.
Just like Cardboard Kenny, who sent us $2 earlier and said he's gonna pay for the cat food. It's on him tonight. So thank you so much, Cardboard Kenny. My cat will appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Kitty gotta eat.
Indeed.
Yeah. What's new in Rookie's world? We always seem to go into some kind of great conversation when Rookie stops by, because you've always got 1,000,001 questions for guys like me, and I'm always willing to answer them. Oh, Mark,
yeah. It's always fun. Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you about how long have you and Rob been doing those animations for?
I actually did those before I became a part of Midnight's Edge.
Okay, did you go to school for that or something, or just on the computer?
Got bored and I found a program, and I have a whole channel full of them. I had another channel full of just music, that like my own personal, like I wrote it and recorded it and all that shit music. But I took that down because that was my main channel according to Google, and I couldn't get my shit to work right for After Dark, so I said fuck it, took a chance, deleted that account. And then this one became my main account, as was my plan. And so it happened to work out. But yeah, that's kind of how that went. So yeah, now I've been a part of Midnight's Edge now for about almost 4 years. Wait, I think it's 3 years. I can't even remember anymore. It's been so long.
We might as well almost count it as 4 by now, right? Yeah.
I can't remember now. I'd have to go back. What year did Spider-Man come out?
Which one?
The first one with the MCU, 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, so this April would be my 4th year then, I think. Wow. Wait,
yeah.
My math right? 18, 19, 20. Okay,
yeah.
Third year.
Third year.
Third year.
Well, that's still cool, man. Yeah, the animations are impressive, just considering, usually you find that on channels that specifically do animations, and it's like you have your own set of talents here, and then it's like, oh yeah, you also have that. It's like that's.
Well, I've got an entire show or two I tried getting going on there. Like there's a few episodes of different shows I tried to get going. They are really shitty though. Like I did most by myself. I had a few friends to help out, but not many.
Well, I think you and I can relate in that sense. Like when I did my stop motion ones, they're technically shitty, but you make them entertaining just based on what you have. And I think that's part of the charm. Sometimes if it's too professional, it can also be boring. And it's like that charm of it not being professional makes it funny. Makes it fun, enjoyable. That's what I think.
Yeah, Matt G. Andre is up, but he is Mr. Mom today. I guess his wife is not home, so he's stuck with the kids. So I got to behave a little bit. He might be watching. He was probably watching that cartoon going, what in the hell is this? But but that same program is basically how I make those Batman cartoons. If you've seen any of those,
I imagine that the voices are your funnest thing to do to fit to all the characters.
it depends. Some of the stuff I'd try and improvise, and it would work out sometimes. Other times it would just be stupid. Sometimes I'd just go in with kind of like a rough script, and sometimes I would completely script it out. But I've learned that completely scripting it out works best generally.
Yeah,
I mean, once in a while we'll get a moment, like you'll do a take and you'll get something in that take you didn't normally get. But that's the beauty of animation, is you got to always do the voices first anyway. So.
Oh, that's a good idea. Whenever I did my stop motions, I'd always record first. I'd like record the videos first and then do the recordings. No wonder they're always off. But then again, I was using tomatoes, so a little different.
Well, in those instances, you almost got to kind of do it in ADR. And I mean, a lot of times ADR is still a part of the game, but
Part of the charm. Hell yeah.
yeah. Monkeys, are you like my Andre impression? I've known him long enough. Speaking of Norway, there was another Norwegian who was supposed to join us, and I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, isn't it like morning over there?
Yeah, it's according to Matt, it's 11, but I think it's more like 7 or 8 because they're like 6 hours ahead of me. So who knows?
Yeah, probably 11 from Pacific, but 7 or whatever from you.
Angren is angry. Actually, Andre's probably like, why is Tom not editing something? He has about 500 things to do. Raging Rhino sent me 99 cents. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What do we got here? Tom, are you going to release a dance mix of Baby Yoda floating in a pot? I didn't write that song, Steve Anderson, or would. If you can find it from the people who did it, but I'm sure somebody will do it at some point if they haven't already. You guys heard that one? The Baby Yoda floating in a pot, baby.
No.
I'd play it, but we'd probably get a copyright strike. So it's pretty popular. Not as popular as Baby Shark, but
Yeah, I kind of missed that one, I guess.
yeah.
My niece is 3 and she loves that. And my sister sends me videos. The youngest niece, number 2, say she can't say Alexa. She's like, oh, how does she do it? Yexa. Yexa. She's like, play Baby Shark, and no, it wasn't my oldest niece is taking the video, and I could see my sister doing the dishes, and I could just see the audible sigh of her just going. And she's like, "Mommy, Baby Shark," and then you hear my sister go, "Baby Shark." Do, 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 do. It's hilarious. I'm never having kids. Never ever.
Mine's all grown up now, and I mean, little kids are cute or whatever. But the best part is when they're not mine, and I can hand them back and go, "Here you go."
Yep. Don't turn this, please.
You can change the diaper, that's about it. And I told my kid he better not be bringing any kids home. So
Very good.
I'm not ready to be a grandpa yet. I'm not that old. So.
Yep. My mother's like, when she wants another grandkid. I said, get a dog. No.
Well, to a point, I can understand why grandkids are funner. That's what I was saying. At least grandkids, you can shake them up and send them home, and they can go home and get sick and ornery with their parents.
Oh, absolutely.
Feed them a bunch of sugar and get them all riled up.
Hey, Tom, do you see Alex McCarthy's comment?
Batman Baby Shark would be hilarious. I'll have to think about that maybe for next karaoke.
Okay.
do. Baby sharks are very adorable, but lethal. That
I'll
makes
join you the voices, but
lethal babies.
That would be hilarious. OMG.
Actual babies are lethal in a large group together. Most people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they can smother you and gang up on you. Matt G sent us $1.25.
Thank you, Matt.
$1.25, please.
Thank you, Matt.
That's a
Have,
great.
whoop, go ahead.
I say that's an odd super chat number. I mean, I know it's appreciated, but
I remember when I hear $1.25. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this one, but Adam Sandler, his first album, he had Toll Booth Willie on there. I think it was the first album.
I remember that.
$1.25, please. There you go, Willie. Anybody tell you nothing but a fat ass jerk? Oh, fuck you! I'm no move.
That's ancient times, man.
Yeah, right. Have you heard of the parody "You're Welcome" with Luke Skywalker? No, I haven't. Eric Draven. I'll have to check that one out.
I haven't heard that one either.
Yeah, I have not watched any of the new Clone Wars stuff. I've only seen a little bit of the other stuff. Matt G says the extra 25 cents is for night shift premium. There you go, sir. I like that. I like that a lot. And just remember, it's funny because I think you brought this up before the show, Christy. But YouTube, of course, takes their 30%. We do also have a PayPal in there too, and if you want to just share it directly. And of course, if you do, I would say it on the air, whatever it was you sent, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that way they don't get their damn 30%. Those filthy animals.
Oh yeah,
little joke now, yeah, because of South Park, and so was that other joke I just did a bit ago. It was a steal.
Yeah, tree fitty.
So, Techman Blaine, it's almost 3 a.m. here. I can't believe I can't believe I started to stream either. But you know what? I'm like, it's Friday night. I didn't do anything tonight, but I went out, and I'm like, God, I should be working. But Andre needs to send me an intro for one video, and I don't feel like starting on the other shit. So I'm going to do a stream. And some Norwegian, not Andre, another one, promised to show up, it sounded like, but they haven't yet. So I'm very upset.
Me too.
It's all good. It's barely midnight over here, so you're good.
Oh, for you.
You're on my shit list, Stig Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forgive you. We're breaking up.
No.
You'll have to win me back now.
I don't think he'll do the work for it.
He will. He'll make it up to me.
In his own way, sure.
Of course.
With his bad
in a stiggly way.
We have a very heterosexual thing going on.
So it's like a hashtag no homo thing. No homo.
We got a bromance that goes across oceans.
Promotions.
We're convinced that Mary is trying to keep us apart.
That sounds like something she'd do.
Doesn't it? Because she's so jealous that we love each other so much.
Yep.
And not only that, she hates it when he sides with me all the time. But I can't help it. That's my man.
Hell yeah.
I find it hilarious when she argues with Steve on a live stream. What doesn't argue, but you know how passionate that Mary can get, and he just still has his dry sense of humor or his just like everyday voice, and he goes, yes, yes, I do. And I just laugh every single time.
Andre himself kind of has a similar kind of thing, but it's not he doesn't do the pun. But sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, he never raises his voice. I've never heard Stig go any higher than his normal voice.
Andre's the same way, kind of. It must be a Norwegian thing. Alexino or Exilano Den. I'm so sorry for butchering that. Rhino milk.
Yes, we all need to drink our rhino milk.
Okay, I guess it's good for you. It's a what?
It's a Mahler joke.
Oh, okay.
Is that what that is?
Well, specifically EFAP. So you guys know JXEX?
I've heard of him.
I watch EFAP from time to time.
Yeah. He does like this. He did the Cinema Sins or something. And he did. Mahler did. They did EFAP on him on one of his videos on Black Panther, and he said something about rhino milk, and then like because they're farming rhinos in Black Panther, and he's like maybe they use it for milk. It's like rhino milk.
Oh, they try to spam that in Gary's chat all the time, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm timing you out.
Now
And
you know.
they'll send me a message on Twitter like, "Why'd you time me out?" It's because you're spamming the chat with something I don't understand.
Well, it's like, and then it became funnier because then Rags was like looking up like what animals produce milk, and there's like all these other ones, but rhino is not one, and it's just one of the many things in Black Panther. I was just like, okay.
Well, hopefully we won't milk Raging Rhino. So don't worry there. But he says it's 7 on Saturday night here in Australia. Fuck yeah. Really? Wow.
And you guys are waiting.
Damn, no, in the future.
You're that far in the
17
future.
hours ahead from the Pacific time, I think. Or
So what's the
19.
news tomorrow? Since you're in the future, you can tell us. Let us know what the future headlines are for tomorrow, Raging Rhino.
Yeah, and maybe that way we can avoid the coronavirus.
That's right. Don't bring it up too much. Our other video got struck to shit. Holy hell. Dark
Wow.
Alley Rambler sent us $5. Here's a fiver for streaming during my usual hours. Hope you're not losing much sleep. I'm kind of a night owl. I got kind of off my schedule here this last week, but yeah, normally I'm probably going to bed just about now. Oh, we got a Bear Nerd Fun. And he's like a floating
Hey,
head.
Bear.
You're wearing a
wearing,
green shirt.
yes, I'm wearing a green shirt.
Is that why you have a floating head?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
similar to the green screen.
Yeah. Basically, I just put a video out with no body.
What was the first for
Yeah.
Christy and Bear? Welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. Sorry
Well,
it was
thank
a Tom going apeshit crazy nut stream, but that's usually what it is. That's usually when I'm most chilled back to, is when I'm being nuts.
Well,
So,
I just finished up uploading a video. I was making a video today, and I probably would have had 5 videos done today if I wasn't being distracted by Twitter left and right.
I know Twitter is a cesspool and a never-ending rabbit hole of bullshit.
Right.
It's a distraction machine, basically.
It is. I try to avoid it anymore, except to just message people like you, find folks to get you on here, and like and retweet, certain things I see once in a while. But I try not to. So if I don't retweet or like something in yours, and you really want me to, don't take it as an offense. I generally will scroll through Twitter for a little bit, and then I'll get the fuck off. Because otherwise, like Jeff said, and they're talking, you get sucked into that so
Oh
bad.
yeah. Gary was
And
talking
Hardware
about it
Kenny,
earlier.
As long as I think as you send it as a friend, we get 100%. And you don't have to pay anything. Just so you know, I'm pretty sure. So, just to answer that question. Sorry, what were you going to say now, Bear? My bad.
Oh no, I was just saying. I heard Gary mentioning Twitter can suck you right in, and I agree, man. I was sucked in several different times. Like, man, I got to get back to this. Like, I kept telling myself, get back to that.
That and Twitter beef is bad.
Oh, I stay at it. I stay away from Twitter beefs and stuff like that. Nope, I don't do it. There's a reason why I use Silence is Golden a lot on my thumbnails here and there, because all the fourth wave thumbnails. I make all the thumbnails for every show, Wednesday and Saturday.
Really, I wouldn't know what's the background.
Yeah, and there's it's sometimes a thumbnail that will be like 9 hours in one thumbnail, just creating patterns and layering photographs. It's quite
That's crazy when I bitch because I have to put together the thumbnail, and I try to do it as quick as possible. It's like my last afterthought, because Andre's good at them. Rob's pretty good at them. But then when Andre's like, I'm busy, I need a thumbnail. I'm like, fuck.
I literally
Yeah.
work on them when I'm uploading the video that it's supposed to go to.
Yeah,
the
oh, what I do.
the thumbnail that's my background. That's a fire in my friend's backyard with the trees in the back. What I did is I cartoonified it, and then I layered it, and then I used a lasso function in my phone to separate the fire away, and then I layered. Have you ever seen those cartoons where they're layered, and they look kind of like a dimensional drawing? Well, that's kind of what I did with the fire, to make it look like there's smoke behind the smoke that's billowing out, and the smoke that's in front, and it gives it that depth. And I enjoy doing it. A lot of fun.
I don't remember the exact names, but they do depth like by doing different panes, and it's actually like so many feet away from the other one. Disney actually started doing that. Oh, now we got somebody else pop in here. What's this?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Immortal Coil, how you doing?
What's up, Mortal?
Well, how's everybody doing tonight?
Hello.
Good.
Doing good, my fellow Washingtonians.
Uh-oh.
That was fast.
You got three. You got three in the West, dude.
Yeah.
It's early for us.
There's that.
Oh, then we lost him, and he comes right back. And Cardboard Kenny said he sent me another $2. I'm thinking he's talking about through the StreamYards, not StreamYards, Jesus, PayPal. Thank you so much there for that. Either way, it works for me. So, all right.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. Let's see here.
I'm just trying to see who's paying attention. No, I had a shitty connection through my smartphone, so it's musical coil tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, Sadie, you like that song, huh?
I've heard worse, mostly on internet porn. So. All right, so what are we jaw-jacking about tonight, folks?
This is a bullshit stream. I started off with a cartoon, scared off like half the people that were watching.
Yeah.
Well,
I caught the last 2 minutes or so.
It does get bigger if you pet it, so I understand.
That's what I've been told.
That's what she said.
She's a theory.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the strong, powerful women. So, if it's okay by you, then it's okay by everything else. But who cares? We're all toxic here, right?
Yeah, that's the thing is we're such toxic, masculine men that they like to think we hate women. It's like, what else do you think we like besides women and like something that gets us inebriated and something their sports like or shiny? That's all men want.
And firearms and entertainment violence.
You're shiny, yeah. Like all men have a few shinies they like, Well,
Oh yeah, I'll never forget the first time that I heard the term manscaping, and I was like, "What? Dudes actually do that?" It's like we're
What the
taught
hell
to
is
do that.
manscaping?
That's where you cut your man fuzz into cute little shapes, or you
Oh
dispense with
my
the-
god!
You had to ask.
And that's actually a Shark Tank tool as well, man. The Manscaper or something.
Yeah, that's like you pay Forrest Gump to run over you with a lawnmower. He'll do it for free.
I gotta pay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you give him enough Dr. Pepper, you don't even know what he'll do.
So,
do you want a
Mortal.
little hot or do you want it in like a lightning bolt?
I don't know, but I've been to Saigon.
One time, one man wanted me to do a question mark, and I don't understand why.
I went to Bangkok, and when he took off his pants, he was a man.
I wonder whatever happened to that man.
Well,
Clear
it's
across
funny,
town, you heard him scream.
Oh, what was the answer to his question?
I was talking to my brother, and I was like, yeah, I feel bad because I think the movie Forrest Gump is really about Jenny stringing along a retard. And he goes, he's not retarded. And I'm like, what do you mean? You hear how he talks and all that. He's like, no. He's just from Alabama. I was like,
Technically, no. He's like, well, depends. Like in the book, he's basically like considered legally mentally disabled or whatever. But in the movie, I think they jacked up his IQ by like 10%. And then
it's crazy. I read the book too, and I was like 14. His dad was killed by a crate of bananas.
Yeah. And then like the one thing I do like about the book that's different than the movie is like instead of like in the movie, it just seems like all this stuff happens to Forrest. but instead in the book it's more like Forrest just has moments of being smart, but he doesn't realize it. Like the one part that always stuck out to me was like when him and his buddy are doing what I can't remember where they're traveling from, but they end up with a flat tire, and his buddy ends up losing all the bolts, and he gets all pissed. And then Forrest is like, well, why don't you take one bolt from each one of the other tires and put them 3 on the one tire, and then we'd have 3 bolts on each tire. And the guy punches him because he was smarter than him.
Oh, yeah.
But guys, don't you know?
And that's the way he talks in the book too, by the way, guys. The guy, who was it that wrote the book? I can't remember now.
Like he spelled it out.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually, it's in phonetic like writing, like it's wrote out like that, like that's how he talks in the book. Sorry about that, Christy. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I was gonna say, but guys, don't you know? Never go full retard.
Never. Unless you're
No, so in the
American.
movie they made him more of like a sweethearted, like just innocent soul. In the book, he's just kind of a doofus, kind of goof, kind of a big, like he's supposed to be like a really big dopey guy in the book. Like in the book, it explains him like he's a big.
He's a Lenny, kind of like a
Well,
Lenny.
it's funny too because you learn a lot about how Hollywood adapts books into movies. Because in the book, him and Jenny are fucking like bunnies, like all through college, and then they decide to be friends or something. Instead of her being like Bella.
That's because she said I was hung like a horse. I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
I was.
I don't know why
packing heat
anybody
in my
would hang a horse.
pants. Right.
That's a lot of work to hang a horse.
Mama taught me everything.
And yes, I have seen Forrest Gump. Okay.
No, yeah, but yeah, that book is like way different than the movie. I mean, most books generally are, but another one that's like way different is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, well, of
I
course,
had no idea that was a book.
yeah. Well, the original book is actually called Who Censored Roger Rabbit. Ironically, I'm going to be interviewing the author this week, and he's wrote 3 books since then. But the books are actually more sequels to the movie because the original book takes place in the time it was written, which was 81, and it's all written from Eddie's point of view. And instead of the Toons being cartoon characters, they're actually comic strip characters. So like Beetle Bailey you mentioned and stuff like that, for instance. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And then when the Toons talk, they actually get air bubbles above their head that say what they're saying. And some Toons have trained themselves how to suppress that and actually speak. And one of them is Jessica, of course. And that's her thing in the book. And the book's way different than the movie, but it has some of the similar themes, but it's very, very different in a lot of ways. And I think even Roger dies if I remember right, in like midway through the book. And the whole thing is Toons can create doppelgangers, but they only last for so long. They create doppelgangers for like stunts and shit like that. And so like Roger's doppelganger is actually helping Eddie figure out who killed him and shit. It's different, but it's most of the basic same characters are there. The same idea is kind of the same, but you can tell the movie is one of those things where the book's interesting and good, but the movie really captured the idea and the tone of that film noir 1940s, and that was the heart of the Disney animation and Warner Brothers era and Tex Avery animation. You know what I mean? Like they I think the way they did it in the film was like spot on. So
The more you know. Didn't know that.
you've seen that movie, haven't you, Rookie Critic?
I have seen that movie. Yes, it's been a long time. But I've seen it.
It's a great movie.
That's one of my favorites. Yes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit's a classic. But yeah, I guess there's a series of books, and the sequels, like I said, are more based on the movie. So like the beginning of the second book, it says like Roger was the one actually telling the story, and Toons are quick and fast with the truth. Or something like that. So then it just starts out, and that whole thing was like Jessica's dream or some shit. So like then the book just picks up like it's a sequel to the movie. I guess I haven't read it yet, but I got it coming in the mail so I can read it before I talk to the author. But yeah, oh yeah, Roger Rabbit was nowadays they can make it easy as shit. Like it wouldn't take nothing to make Roger Rabbit. We could make Roger Rabbit probably, but back then, yeah, it was. I think it took them almost 3 or 4 years to make that movie altogether, just with all that went into it from beginning to end. It was quite quite the film, and that's why it was so. That's really why most people don't realize. That's why it took so long between Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2. It's because Robert Zemeckis was working on Who Framed Roger Rabbit for so long.
Well, that makes sense. They're mixing 2D with literal live action 3D. So.
Yeah, and you didn't have computers. The only thing computers helped with was the tracking of the shots. So, like, they would shoot a shot once, and then the computer would tell the camera, or the camera would tell the computer what movements it made. So then they could reshoot it again without the actors or whatever they needed to do, and it would make the exact same camera movements, in complete sync. So then they could add in, and layer it all together. And it was a hell of a deal how they did that. And then ILM came in and tweaked, with their opticals. They tweaked like the shadows and made them look a little shiny, so they actually looked like they were made out of paint and stuff like that.
It's crazy to think how the late 80s, early 90s was the death knell of that type of special effect. Because I think by the time, I don't know what, like The Matrix came out, like that's when you started to see everything shift more towards computer generated effects instead of practical effects.
Yeah,
I'm confused. Okay, now you said no. I mean, with the IP. You mean because it was so adult at the time and it was made through Disney? Because they released it through Touchstone, but I'm not quite sure what you're getting at there, Steven. So yeah, if you can clarify a little bit better, maybe I'll understand. So, but yeah, it was quite a feat to do without computers and everything. So, but yeah, that era was just so innovative in what they could do. And computers really helped out a lot through a lot. I mean, even people don't realize, they use computer. That's where the motion control camera that they use the computer on came from, was like Star Wars and stuff like that. That's where it was first used. And that was how they got the ships to move away from the camera and towards the camera, and and make them look like they were moving fast, because they figured out, you don't make the ship move, because then if you try and make the ship move, guess what? It's going to look like a wonky ship on a fucking wire. But if you move the camera, then it looks like the ship's moving, but it's not, because you keep the background stable, and it's like a whole little trick. It's just a quick trick of the eye, basically.
And I think people tend to forget that how fast they put movies out now. Back then, movies didn't come out until sometimes 3-4 years later, till the next movie. It took that long for movies to be made, because things were not like they are now.
Oh yeah, it's a common thing here now. Yeah, well, like people will say, the Star Wars movies, they were too close together. George Lucas kept them 3 years apart for a reason. No, George Lucas kept them apart 3 years for a reason, because A, the special effects took him that long, and B, because he hadn't written them yet. So.
I mean, in 1999, episode 1 of Star Wars, my God, it was just mind blowing what they did with special effects and CGI.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit longer then for a movie to come out than it does now. And I was blown away by the special effects that was compared to what we had before.
I got more of an awe out of Jurassic Park, and I think that was because the effects were used more sparingly. And episode 1, I liked some of the stuff, but then some of the stuff I thought was just overkill.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of those times where the point tipped, because Lucas knew this was the future, and he was right. I mean, look at what we're doing now. Exactly the way he made those movies, and everybody said he was nuts, because he was doing it all digital, all in front of green screens, all this other stuff.
Well, he still used a bunch of practical effects in the prequel as well.
Point, but yeah,
a lot of people point out that they actually did use a lot of practical. They just they're overshadowed by the amount of special effects that are in it. But it was it was meant on purpose for scale, to show how big this universe kind of is, because you couldn't display that in the same way back then.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. For that time period, the special effects in that film are very well done. Like, I think Watto, even though the character is questionable, I think the CGI on Watto is very well done. Even though I don't think that his little wings could actually.
I agree that the anatomy was kind of messed up on some things, but the fact that was a CGI creature, I think it kind of worked in the fact that like it's a good thing that the Jedi are kind of monks because the dialogue was kind of boring, but in context of the scenes, I think it like made sense. But yeah, like people would be accurate saying that it is kind of boring, but it makes sense with who they are and what they're doing. But
I found episode 2 Water to be very compelling, and even though Anakin was kind of in his bitchy phase, to see him just kind of like disheveled sitting on the side of a stucco wall. Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
Is that you? And Anakin's like, do you want me to choke the life out of you? Tell me where my fucking mother is.
He seemed kind of nice to him, actually. It's surprising.
Jedi now, what do you know?
I'm surprised he did.
Water was scared as shit, though. I don't know if he like takes proper craps, but whatever he excretes, I think he was doing so.
I'm surprised that he wasn't more aggressive toward Watto, being his former like slave master. Like he
needed info, and then I'm sure he pitied him after that.
Well, and it's like in a way, his mom was technically safer under Watto, and it's older.
Maybe another reason why he didn't kill him and hate him so much. Who knows? Because I mean, even though they were slave, you can tell Watto treated them pretty good. I mean, they had their own home and all that shit. Even like RLM points out, it's like, for being slaves, they got a pretty shitty life, not.
That's one thing. That's one criticism that I would have for episode 1 is that they're like, the context is that he came from a slave planet and he was raised as a slave, but it's like pretty well off slave. Like it's not like he was beaten every day, or if he fucked up on something, then he'd be punished. It just seemed like you just can't leave the planet or you explode. That's pretty much it. Like
he was slave rich. Remember when he comes home and he's like, "Mom, look how many credits we have." As if he
that's another thing. Like
turned them over. But
anyway, like anyhow, I don't. My point is this: like, but the problem with the prequels I have is the main issue I have isn't even so much the little undos of things they said in the original trilogy that George Lucas took a lot of. I don't know how you want to put it, but he over-explained a lot of things in the prequels that I don't think needed explaining, and I think he didn't just kind of lost sight of his own world in a sense. Like the RLM breakdowns, I think, do the best job of it. Like why are all the Jedi dressed like Obi-Wan was in the first movie? That makes no sense. Why would Jedi dress like that? You dress like that because you're in a desert. If you have a lightsaber, that's the last thing you want to wear is a bunch of long-ass robes. You're going to be cutting your robes all that shit.
It's like I feel like if they're in times of peace where they're not really doing much, like if they're in their monk wear, I guess that makes sense. But then again, like if they go around to different planets and with the people all the time, I would almost think that they have like some type of clothes with their ships or something where they can kind of blend in on different planets too. Like I don't know, to kind of be welcomed by the people in some different way, because you're going to different planets. If you just look, you're in a robe. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm different. I don't really get it exactly with how they do things, but if they're supposed to be peacekeepers, you think they try to appeal to whatever planets they're going to, maybe. But I don't know.
It could be, but like I like how they point out that a Jedi, it makes more sense. What Luke is wearing in Return of the Jedi makes more sense of what a Jedi would wear. Something simple, something close to your body.
Yeah, you could fight in it, and there's not too much on it. Nothing to get in the way.
Exactly. It's not. It's and that's another thing. Why would Jedis want to be all flashy and shit? I mean, and granted, a robe is not necessarily flashy, but you're going to stand out. Right away it's a Jedi.
Well, yeah, and you would think if that was the typical garb of a Jedi in Order 66, and then the Emperor paints them to be traitors, why would Obi-Wan stick to that sort of like motif? Why wouldn't he?
You dress like a Jedi, old man.
Exactly.
So hold on. So I know that you have lots of background information on how things were made, Tom. So like when he was making the Jedi for the Phantom Menace, was it make Jedi look like Obi-Wan, or was it supposed to be a monk influence anyway, or something? I thought that's kind of what I've heard vaguely, was that he was basing.
I think it's a little bit of both, but I have a hard time believing that he intended the Jedi garb initially to be what Obi-Wan wore when he had Luke wearing that more practical outfit in the third film.
Well, so like a way to interpret it, I guess, is like, you know how priests or something have like their little missionaries and stuff, and like do things, but you know, it's spread the word of this, but instead of spreading the word of blank, they just try to settle disagreements on people's planets in times of peace, I guess, to try to prevent
Yeah, he didn't even. Yeah, he. I don't even know if he understood in a way like what he was trying to set up the Jedi for, because he kind of set him up more like a Knights of the Round Table kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then in the prequels we see them as more diplomats. So it's like, what are they? Are they consulary? What are they just people that are counsel? Are they actual people who actually deal with disputes? Why would they give a fuck, or who gives a shit about trade disputes when you're a Jedi? It shouldn't even be in your sphere. If you're a Jedi, the only thing you should really be worried about is like humanitarian type things and social things, like if people are being persecuted, or instead of being worried about talking to the trade commission or whatever the fuck they were called, they would have been bringing the Trade Federation. They would have been finding a way to bring good to the planet. They wouldn't be worried about that. But that shouldn't even been my problem with the movies. The movies is they don't have a main character until the second film. And that's because
Qui-Gon was the main character in
that's the problem. We kind of start off following Qui-Gon, and then it was like, oh, so I kind of guess we're starting to follow Obi-Wan now, which would be a natural progression. But then,
I do agree that Padme, Obi-Wan, and Anakin probably should have been the main three from the start. And I mean, I think they could have still had Qui-Gon, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that he wanted to do, and I think a lot of things could work, like having him as a kid and starting as one way. Having him be older and training under Obi-Wan is a different way to start as well. But I mean, it seems like there's a lot of avenues you could tackle going in the prequels, to be honest.
The problem with that is he wanted to just have a kid in there just so there was a kid to bring kids in. That was his whole thing. He wanted to get a new generation of kids. Now, if he was smart, he would have started Anakin as a little older. And that's where you would have shown the war and torn of slavery. Because if you stop and think about it, he got him as a kid. Okay, even though Yoda and them say he's too old, even at that young and impressionable child, if the Jedi had got him that young, he shouldn't have been as unruly as he was. Now, granted, you could say, oh, well, that's because Obi-Wan wasn't trained very well by Qui-Gon. In turn, he did a bad job with Anakin. But I don't think so. I don't think it's so much it's insinuated that Obi-Wan's a bad Jedi or is doing a bad job as it is Anakin just doesn't like, he doesn't like authority. And I think he was trying to put this thing in him with this whole thing, like, I don't like being tied down by rules like a slave, which I think is what Lucas kind of started out the idea with, and then that got lost somewhere. Because
he had that idea that he wanted Anakin to be like James Dean, just like kind of like, what do you got? And Hayden Christensen probably didn't. He looked the part more than he did, spoke it. But then you also have to figure, I don't think Obi-Wan was ready to have a Padawan.
That's part of it too.
He just became a Jedi Knight.
Ability to his master that Anakin was blah, 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 blah.
But no, I think they should have started Anakin more like a 12, 13, 14, because then he'd be a bit more angsty. He'd have been through a bit more. They should have shown the fact that him being a slave was not a good thing. Because in this movie, there's no point where they really show that being a slave is a bad thing, other than he just can't leave, and these dangerous pod races.
Well, yeah, I would agree that at that age, he's like 9 or 10. Like,
he's 9, I think. Yeah,
he's 9. So it's like at that point, this is just how he's lived his whole life. So that's just how life is to him. There's no other way of existence, I would think, for him. So other than what people.
If anything, you could say what disrupted his life.
So then when he's 13 or something, 14 even, then I think he'd be able to reflect more on everything and where he is and realize that he's kind of screwed in this type of position. Maybe he'd be trying to make more escape attempts and get punished for it or something, trying to, provide or protect his mom or something.
We'd have the Jedi Order trying to deal with like acne, voice cracking, hormone Anakin. What are you doing in your bed at night, Anakin? Practicing my lightsaber technique.
Yeah. I don't know. You see, that's the thing too. So it's like there's lots of criticism that I could have for the prequels as well, but it's like I feel like with the context that they provide, they do things pretty well. But yeah, I'll agree too that I wish that they didn't reveal as much stuff that that they hinted at in the originals and then like answered things in the prequels, because some things I do wish were kind of left a mystery and not as
well, like metachlorians is a great example. You don't need an explanation. The Force was explained very well in the original films, and it's because of things like the metachlorians that we got to the point where Force healing and all that kind of crap is okay.
Yeah, I feel like this is where they could have had I'm not going to say a Rey type of moment, but like where like his Force abilities is crazy for his age, and just having him show it, and like for him it's natural. He's not even trying to do it, and it's like, okay, you wouldn't need to explain metachlorians or how the Force works to explain why he's so strong. You just be like, dude, that dude's just strong. What the hell?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
He's on this backwater planet outside of the Republic. That's why they don't know about him. So.
It's just like, okay, the idea of metachlorians to me is almost like a metaphor for a prequel in general. You're boxed in and you're making your universe smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like with Dragon Ball when they introduce power levels. It kind of gets weird because then it's like you can go, oh, you're at level 900 or you're at 5,000. Well, I'm at level 6,000. So it's kind of like,
because what it does is it takes it away. Okay, because like in the original trilogy, you can walk away from the original trilogy even knowing, your family can be strong in the Force, but pretty much anybody can be a Jedi with the proper training and the proper patience, and and properly getting to know the Force kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's the way they kind of set it up. So that opens your world wide open. Once you introduce metachlorians, that really narrows down who can be a Jedi and who can't be.
I feel like it leaves it just as open, but it questions more why they do things in their universe, because it's
it leaves it to where a family, your family has to be strong in the Force for you to be strong in the Force, period. It doesn't open that door for just anybody to be able to, aspire to gain that, unless you want to be a Sith, basically.
Well, what I'm getting at is that, if they know that they can like measure the Force via blood or something, then you'd think that everybody would get a blood test when they're born or something.
That's what they do, and that's why Lucas did that, is so that they had this thing where...
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get like anybody who has kids, they prick the foot and then they take the blood test and figure out your blood quantum, your RH factor, and your midichlorian count.
I kind of thought that like parents go, hey, look, my kid's using the Force or something. Like,
right. They're just slamming their Gerber baby food into the wall. And
that's why Yoda...
I can't do this.
That's why the joke is funny when Yoda says that Anakin's too old, because he literally is too old. They take you from birth.
Okay, that makes okay.
And then you get raised by there. He finally fucking shows up, and
okay, I cannot defend at all then, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. That's all the metachlorians are there for, is to create this scenario to where it's easy to signify who is and who isn't a Jedi. That's it.
Nope.
What's up, Stig?
I don't like it.
That's not how midichlorians work.
That shouldn't be, but that's basically what they're there for. Is what I'm saying.
No, George Lucas has said that everyone can learn the Force with training, because the Force is in everything, right? Every living thing.
That's true, but he's saying that in the prequels they established that the Jedi find Jedi by blood test, basically.
No,
by your midichlorian count.
No, that's just high potential, which ties into certain bloodlines having.
Yeah, but if you found this in a book, though, Stig, you know how I feel. I don't like to do homework.
No, George Lucas said it.
He could say it, but he should have said it in the movie, is my point, then. I'm not arguing with you, Stig. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that my point is, I know you're never generally wrong, but my point is this, is that it should be in the fucking movie and not elsewhere, not in an interview, not in a book, not in a comic book, not in, anything like that. It's, you want me to know something in the movie and you want it to be clear, that should be clear. And that's, it's a fundamental issue of storytelling. It's just, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. And in the case of the Force, I felt it was, my point when I started it out was basically I felt like they did a good enough job explaining it in the original films. I didn't need any more explanation. I understood more so from that scene in Empire when Yoda and Luke are, going back and forth, and he's like, I can't do it. And he's like, that's why you fail, and judge me by my size and all that kind of shit. And he says the Force is in everything. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds us, all that kind of shit. And I get that. But from what I got from the midichlorians, that's what I got.
It's I think he added mostly to showcase how the Jedi Order back in those days were more organized and they had more tools to do their job, right?
To a point, but that's what I was saying is like it shouldn't be that way. I mean, it should be more like I said, it should be left open more because in this scenario, even if you say that is the case, because that was what I was saying was like it should be something that I liked about the original trilogy was that anybody could be a Jedi as long as you know took the effort to learn how to do it, just like any kind of martial art or anything like that. It's and also training the mind and the body at the same time kind of thing. And as long as you were willing to try and keep going and put the time and
Use
effort.
your metaphysical senses.
Yeah, the metaphysical part of it, more so. And if you're somebody who wanted to rush it, well, then you got to the dark side. Well, the way it's presented to me in the prequels is anybody who has a midichlorian count can be a Jedi. But the only way you can be a Jedi without having a midichlorian count would be a Sith, basically.
Well, for both, you'd still need training because
evidently, yes. But
the point is that they wouldn't train anybody that had a lower metachlorian count. Kind of, it was like you has to be high enough to train or something. Because
no.
Well, no, because then why do they get the babies why do they get babies when they're babies to be Jedi? Like that's
because
based on skill or nothing. It's just they don't pick random babies. They pick force sensitive ones that are higher level. So
it has to do with discipline.
But they're babies.
Yeah, you're training from birth.
No, but why do they pick specific babies?
Because of their high metachlorian count. That's the point. We're getting
babies from the same planet from one village, like then just random ones.
No, there's Jedi's that doesn't have a high midichlorian count at all. They get
well, okay, then why do they
become sentinels, really, which is the librarian in episode 2.
Okay, but why did they specifically pick just certain babies from birth, like to be Jedi? Why specific ones? Like, what is their metric to pick a baby Jedi?
That they pick kids that have shown force potential or they have used force.
You know the answer, Stig. You just don't want to say it. They give them a blood test at birth, and they know by midichlorian count.
The point being that I think even Obi-Wan technically had a lower metachlorian count compared to the other Jedi.
Yeah, he was like, they even point that out. Yes, yeah.
The lowest ones, but he worked the hardest to try to be one of the best Jedi. But at the point being that they won't even look at you if you're not at a certain metachlorian level. If you're not at level 50 metachlorian level at age 2, then we ain't taking you. Like, basically.
No, they're taking people with very, very low counts.
I mean, basically, okay, they'll take anybody who's, let's say, gets a 0.8 on the metachlorian count scale, just for devil's advocate. Okay, we'll just say
that. But all the rest below that don't get to train.
No, basically, otherwise, all it was there for is so you had a quantifiable way of saying that Anakin Skywalker was stronger than Yoda. That was it.
Yeah. Which is also ties into Luke, because that bloodline had a high.
We were trying to explain that line in Return of the Jedi where he's like, in my family, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I think it was also probably Qui-Gon Jinn's job. Like, imagine you're an expected mother on a Dickwad 7, and you're so happy you're going to have a baby, and then Qui-Gon Jinn calls you up and goes, I don't know who you are. I don't know who your baby is, but it has a high midichlorian count, and we're going to take him.
Yeah. And also, it makes Luke's death utterly stupid because you can't overdose on the Force.
I know, that's the other parts I'm getting to too. Is like I said, the midichlorian thing just kind of spawned all this other crap in the sequel trilogy that was even worse. Like the midichlorians almost seem quaint in comparison now.
I feel like at best you would try your best with using as much force as you can, and then you just wouldn't be able to succeed at your task at most.
No, and I said, I can stop this whole thing with the whole dying from the Force bullshit. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't equate, because if that was the case, then every single fucking Sith would be dying left and right.
Yeah,
because that's constantly what Sith are trying to do is to use the Force, the highest potential. Yeah,
pushing your human limits basically is what they're able to do. And it's almost like saying that if we're as humans going to push ourselves to our max, like trying to lift up a car or something, and it's like this effort would kill you. It's like that'd be retarded.
That's what I'm saying. So if that was even a possibility, the Sith would never even have a chance to thrive at all because they would just die because they would constantly use the Force too hard.
I tried too hard, guys. I tried really hard.
Technically, it happened with Palpatine. He died from stop hitting yourself. He could have stopped using the Force lightning at any time.
I know, right?
Technically, we don't know how the Force lightning worked because we never saw that with anyone else.
It might be like an orgasm. You can't stop it once it starts.
No, Count Dooku did it, and he stopped whenever he wished.
Fuck.
Yeah, but he wasn't injured in the process. He just
maybe Dooku has more control. Okay.
Yeah, he's not
it's
retarded.
Like trying to stop pissing midstream. You have to kind of pinch it, but you can't, because you're using both hands. And
that's not as hard as stopping the other. But I mean, I don't want to have to say it again because I don't.
I have a question. What do you guys think of Count Dooku? I've heard a lot of people.
I like him. I like his character, actually.
I heard a lot of people don't like him, but it's like I liked how different he was as a Sith. He wasn't the same type of bad guy as other Sith. They make all the villains quite different.
Do you want to know why Dooku was in the movie, in the story? There's actually a very good point to it. First, you have Darth Maul, who's consumed by hatred. Then you have Dooku, who is a fallen Jedi, and then you have Grievous, who's a cyborg. Put them together, you get Darth Vader. Foreshadowing.
I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Darth Vader is all of them.
I did like the idea.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I did like the idea that Dooku kind of introduced that there could be a gray Jedi, and that's really where the balance lies. But I don't think that was something that Lucas got to really explore much, and I'm wondering if that's possibly where he was going to go in his sequel trilogy. Because I think he was the one who had the idea to begin with to have the son of Han and Leia going to the dark side and then basically bringing unbalance to the Force because he keeps trying to call Darth Vader out when Anakin's Force ghost is actually Anakin. So that's where the phasing between Anakin and Darth Vader came in. Well, if you guys have ever seen that art or not, but
Lucas's idea for a trilogy had to do with the wills.
That too, yeah, the wills of the Force and how they.
There was no dark side stuff going on
okay, well then that was probably in a later draft. Then that came up later, but
after Return of the Jedi, the Force is in balance. The Sith were causing the imbalance with their mere presence.
That's what I was kind of getting to. Was like I thought maybe like because everybody's like, well, then it doesn't make sense if they brought balance to the Force. So I was like, well, it would make sense then if you have somebody as strong as Kylo who's trying to call out Darth Vader when Darth Vader technically doesn't exist anymore, and you're bringing that part of the dark side, that's going to bring an imbalance out, in the Force. If you're trying to tell me that there's balance in the Force when good prevails, right? That's kind of the way they set it up. And to me, it doesn't really, to have balance, you got to have equal good and bad, right?
No. Not with the Force.
I know that's the thing. The Force is funny. And I know some people don't like the idea of gray Jedi. I know they don't. And that's totally fine. I respect that and I totally understand it. But I think in life, I think that Lucas should have took a little bit different look at it and been like, Anakin was right. We can't live by these dogmatic bullshit laws. And there is, a little bit of good and bad and a little bit of bad and good. You have to have a little bit of balance of both. You can't be, so straight edge.
Well, that's what I was going to say about Dooku is that he actually, I don't even know if he identifies as a Sith because he.
That's the thing is he doesn't know.
He wanted to kill Sidious. He wanted Obi-Wan to help. He had many chances to kill a lot of people and didn't. He with the whole Civil War thing with the Separatists and the clones, it's like it's a civil war of differences politically. I mean, it's for an overall plan thing, but it's he wanted to kind of rule in his own way. Maybe that's like a little more. A little more forceful / peaceful in a way. It's like, not kill everyone, but I don't know. I feel like he was going down a different route than Sidious, but also different than the Republic and stuff. But we never really got a chance to explore it.
Well, they don't do a really good job explaining it in the movie, but I'm sure it's in a novel somewhere. Didn't he and didn't he have something with that other Jedi? I can't think of his name. Cypher Diaz, yeah. Starting the clone army or whatever, or are they one and the same? I never understood that.
I was actually confused on if Cypher Diaz was supposed to be Qui-Gon, because they said he was killed almost 10 years ago. And then, like,
Cypher Diaz actually makes an appearance in the Clone Wars prior to this last.
Yeah.
So they are distinct entities. But I thought it was interesting. The actor they chose to play Darth Tyrannus, very wise choice. Poor dialogue, poor execution. But in the Clone Wars, like in the animated series, he is much more malicious. So he embraces that Sith side.
Okay.
Yeah. So Christopher, what's his name?
Lee.
Christopher Lee. Thank you. Very good choice, because he's a classic horror movie actor, but just probably not utilized to his best potential.
Now, I would have liked to see him in all three of those movies instead of just, half of the second one, barely in the third one, because he's got a good screen presence, I'd say.
Yeah. Dookie was not a Sith, and you know this because his eyes are never yellow.
Well, yeah. Well, and it's like the way he conducted everything was very different than all the other Sith. He didn't have this hatred for all the Jedi. He just thought differently than them. Even like after he beats Anakin and Obi-Wan, he turns off his lightsaber. He's like, "Man, I kind of wish I didn't have to do that, but gotta do what I gotta do." And
yeah, he's a fallen Jedi who's turned to the dark side, but he hasn't had Sith training. He hasn't become an apprentice.
Exactly. I feel like he, in a way, he was kind of more with Sidious out of fear, in a way. Like, maybe.
He had
got the short end of the stick with training.
He had lost faith in the Jedi.
He thought that the Republic was all corrupt with senators, which it was literally. That's why he went over to the CIS, the Separatists and whatnot, and had the Galactic Civil War.
Yeah, the Separatists were technically the rebels of that age.
Yeah, true. A lot of people say the politics in the prequels made it boring, but I found it interesting. And it's like, as a kid, there's enough action and stuff in it to be fun as a kid, and then when you're older, understand it more as an adult, I'd say. For people that have the beef. Chrissy, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts on stuff and things?
It's Star Wars. I'm tired of Star Wars.
I know what you mean.
Well, what would you like to talk about then? Because this doesn't have to be a Star Wars stream.
No, honestly, I like listening to y'all talk and everything like that. It's just.
Oh, I get sick of it too.
Yeah, me too. But we get fun conversations with this mix.
I'm very much. I like how people talk about when you go into Star Wars, like. I am that demographic. I'm the person that's going to go in, I'm going to watch the movie, and sure, I'll go onto the internet and look at some of the history and lore of all the Star Wars characters, both in the EU, the Disney canon, whatever, how many canons they have out there. But I didn't get that feeling with the movies, especially episode 9. I always thought it was very much a Skywalker saga because I purposely watched all the movies again before I went and watched the movie episode 9 in the theater. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this. And And I think that's just I think that was just everybody, or I hope that was just everybody, in my opinion. Maybe some people like it. Some people are just like, eh. But me, at the end of the day, I was just like, I should have just waited till this movie came on cable or something like that, because it was not worth the $9 that I spent to go watch it in the theater.
And actually retroactively wipes out the first 6 movies because they're pointless.
Exactly. And when, I mean, you know the scene when, oh God, what? Palpatine in episode 3 that he's thrown down, where he's supposedly killed?
6.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, be yourself.
Okay, we're
Make-
gonna
yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, when I'm just like, wait a minute. So how the hell are they supposed to bring him back? Because the one in the Last Jedi who was afraid of Luke Skywalker, I don't know his
name is Wrinkle.
Snoke. Was Snoke?
Yeah.
I mean,
It shocked me that he was killed in that movie because I thought he would be the big bad in episode 9.
He had to split.
Really, Stig.
Well, and Palpatine
She's been
has
waiting
like
for that.
6 of them in jars, you know. So
Oh yeah, but then episode 9 comes and it basically that was essentially Palpatine all along in some way. I was just like, oh God.
I can change the conversation if you want.
You know, the Mandalorian actually makes it even worse.
How
Yeah,
about
with the-
something? How about something slightly nostalgic? The theater that I went to see the first Star Wars, it was at Dunes General Cinema 1 and 2. Now the max seating capacity for this theater was 800 people. So that means that each theater sat 400 people. Those were big screens, and also on at a different General Cinema, I saw Braveheart, the big, huge widescreen. It would probably take at least 2.5 screens of these theaters that we go to now, with the size screens they got. I mean, they're small. They're small compared to what I used to go to. And that was up until I was in my early 20s. That General Cinemas was still around. And they were
Oh yeah, I
huge
come from an area
screens.
that was a small area, so like the few theaters we did have were the bigger ones. They would
Yeah.
never get first run movies, but yeah. Anyway, Stig, you were saying how Mandalorian made shit different or made shit worse, and then I'll share something to get everybody's on a different topic.
You
Yeah.
talking about like stormtroopers like really having horrible aim?
No, it's the fob that they use to track people.
And
Oh,
actually,
that
I
stupid thing.
have no idea what that is, so I
Yeah.
don't even know.
No, it's just a device they use to track their targets with across the whole galaxy. So if that technology was available, why didn't Palpatine use it to track down Kenobi and Yoda and Luke and all the rebels? Or
Yeah,
why didn't
It's
Snoke
called
use it to find Luke and Rey and everyone else?
Plot holes.
It's called a what?
that's
Wow.
Wow.
When you retroactively add technology like that,
I think they
You-
should have done a better job explaining it. Definitely, yeah. Like if you have like a tracker on somebody, that's a little different, or
Yeah.
they've been
Honestly,
instilled with something. Yeah.
why wouldn't it be like a search, like a detective in space or something? Like, I don't know, when you're trying to find a target that you don't know where it is, it seems really redundant that there's a tracker that'll just lead you there.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't like that aspect
all
of the
right,
show.
Yeah.
so there's no work
He-
in this. It's just
he uses
Alright.
the tracker for every target. So it's if it was escaped prisoners, it would make sense, right? That they've been marked.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Yeah, if you had like something embedded in your skin,
Yeah.
maybe or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was everyone.
and they don't say that though. Yeah, they don't specify. But I got this today at Walmart, and I hate Funko Pops, but this is fucking Doc Holliday from Tombstone,
those things. Oh,
so I had to
Oh,
get it.
wow.
okay.
I'm your Funkleberry.
Yes, sir.
Freaking, pardon my
And I
French.
guess there's actually a couple different ones for Doc Holliday, but no, I just had to pick that one up. I seen that today, so
Are you gonna put that on your tombstone?
I might.
How do you like your tombstone?
Did they ever have those over there, Steve? Tombstone pizza?
Yeah. We have tombstones certainly.
Well, yeah, but I mean that joke with the Tombstone pizza commercial.
Sorry if I'm being cryptic or if my humor is grave. Can you dig? Enough
6
fun.
feet.
Well, it's
Yeah.
funky. I was trying to find some Walking Dead apparel. The 7-inch figures that look all badass, but all that popped up were Funko Pops, and I don't need a Daryl Funko Pop. I don't need a Carol Funko Pop.
Yeah,
Like,
they're kind of taking over the industry, and I normally avoid Funko Pops that are just the people because they put like the least amount, like as you can see here. I mean, there's no real detail in the face or anything like that, but
no,
I do tend to like get the creature ones because those are done a lot better. And once in a while, certain movies like this, I will get them just to support the franchise, like Beverly Hills Cop and certain things like that, and Little Shop of Horrors that don't always get a lot of merchandise. So it just kind of, those are the only times I buy any that are like people. And once in a while, I'll buy the musicians. I like the musicians, and I got a Jim Henson one, but he's got a little Kermit with him, so I don't know if that counts.
You're not going to get a J.J. Abrams one?
Fuck no, and if I did, I'd melt it in the microwave.
is that a funk? No.
Funk no and that's a Stieg one for you. If I bought one, the only reason I would buy one is I would say, here you go, Annie Trekker, I'm going to show you how much of a hack JJ is, and I'd throw it in the microwave and watch it melt.
Damn.
But then somebody would like be like, he's going to kill JJ Abrams, did you see that?
Well,
Yeah.
would you have to get a new microwave? Because then anything you make after that would have J.J. Abrams essence in there.
I actually have an old microwave that still works that I could probably do it in that I wouldn't care about.
That makes sense then. I'd say do that.
And you know
my
what
kid-
fucking sucks is like I hate Funko Pops. I will never buy one. I will never purchase one, nor recommend them to my friends or family. But one day I was with a coworker and he was like, I got the perfect present for you. I'm like, okay. And he shows up with like a Wolverine Funko Pop, and what am I supposed to say?
That's kind of how my collection started, to be honest with you.
Jeez, Tom, what the hell are we supposed to do, man?
You
I
keep on
know.
you keep on accepting the gifts and saying, wow, thank you, just what I wanted. And then they go, okay, so now I know what to get you next time as well. And then,
Again, I don't have a problem with certain ones, but I do understand and I do dislike the fundamental idea behind them. And one of the main things, and this is just a generalization, so don't take this the wrong way, anybody, but one of the main reasons most of us seem to dislike them is they are what, and this is nothing towards you, Christy, or anybody like this, because Mecca is the one who says this most often, is that you get these girls who want to pretend that they are into nerdy stuff just to get nerdy guys to talk to them because they don't know how to talk to guys. So they'll throw a Funko Pop up on their desk at work and hoping that, oh, I see you like whatever, and then
wow. That's not even what comes to mind when I see a Funko Pop. It's like, wow, you got a Funko Pop. Cool. All right.
I'm literally at work right now, and the only thing I have on my desk is my computer. And but at home, I have a lot more Game of Thrones stuff because I love that's my go-to. That's the Song of Ice and Fire series. And even a certain Ivan Ooze, Steve, that you made fun of me on my live stream on Thursday.
A what?
The Power Rangers Ivan Ooze. Oh my god.
Yeah, nobody liked that one.
Dude,
it's a
that's
little
awesome. That's unique. That's great.
I know, Man's Mama Bear, but that's the way in, and there's a reason for that. It's because they see it and they're like, "Oh, I got that Funko Pop," and it starts the conversation.
No, I don't like Funko Pops, and there was one I wanted to get because after watching, you watched the Captain Marvel's shit, Captain America, the first Avenger, and then I think it was even Winter Soldier, were the Peggy Carter series. I really truly liked that series. I have the DVD, the season 1 and 2 DVDs and stuff like that. And the only Funko Pops, or the only thing I could find that was Peggy Carter, was a Funko Pop. I don't like Funko Pops. So
I'm not a fan either, but that's what Mecca said too. And they make them cutesy for a reason. And most normal, true nerdy girls probably aren't into them. And otherwise, most people I do know that are self-respecting nerds, if they do have them, they're like me. It's like they only have certain ones or a certain, type of thing that they're into. Like you said, Game of Thrones or whatever, stuff like that. But it's funny that, they don't make those kind of figures because they don't think a Peggy Carter would sell. That's why. And then it's funny. I see you bring up Marvel because today I seen in the clearance aisle at Walmart, they had a whole box full of Captain Marvel electric toothbrushes.
You
Like chock full.
Nobody wants Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Which purposes are for?
What'd you say, Immortal Coil?
Oh, the toothbrushes for Captain Marvel. What is that purpose really for?
They're there.
It's a
Disney will
masturbation
slap
joke.
on everything they can.
Yeah.
Steven Anderson sent us $1. Didn't say nothing, but just sent us $1. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. As I said, you guys help keep the lights on, so Funko Pops are paid for the death.
With how many like dollar
Damn.
different chats you're getting tonight, I'm thinking if they just had that in their pocket and were like, I'll give them that much and pretend that just give it out of my pocket. Yeah, I got $2. Here you go.
Yeah, and speaking of like Beverly Hills Cop, because we just brought it up, and Bear Nerd Fun just shared me the story about Eddie Murphy being in Beverly Hills Cop 4 and it going to Netflix, and he says he hopes it happens. I think it will. That's why it's going to happen. I'm like 99.9% sure. Paramount hedged their bets, and they gave it to Netflix so they could make some money off it.
Now, is this in a Cobra Kai capacity? Is that what
I
you're
hope
thinking?
so. The deal was for Beverly Hills Cop 4 and 5. And the fifth is optional on Netflix's part, from what I understand from the deal. So those aren't toothbrushes for you, Tom. That's fat bastard. That's funny. That's so funny.
Oh, I have to do something.
What was that, Stig?
I have to do something since Mama Bear is in the chat. Hello there. There you go. I always have to do that. She nags me if I don't.
Yep. I felt that way once or twice before.
Oh my God. He looks so lost right now.
I just love it when he looks at him with that look like you are the reason.
He's so fucking pissed, and he's under contract, and he can't fucking say it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, Mark Hamill, we feel like you.
There's
mean,
inner turmoil.
He was just exploding. He wanted to say something so bad.
Yeah.
My God.
That clip never does get old, though, I tell you.
His poor plumbing.
It looks like he's smelling Ryan Johnson's fart. Like,
he's probably
Tough
thinking, you can't control what my face says.
He's doing his George Lucas impression when he realized how Kathleen Kennedy.
You see that slight head turn? What did Ryan Johnson say right there to make him turn his head like that?
I don't know. I don't have the audio on it for a reason.
Ryan
It's so I
Johnson
can-
says anything, and that's how you look.
It's just so I control Rob with it.
Damn. But when you watch the interviews of like actors when they're doing the press junkets to promote the movies and stuff like that, I'm just like, ugh, I would never ever want to be an actor.
In all honesty, that's probably what it was. Is he's like, I don't know what country they're in, but he's probably been up all night in 10 planes, and. But I know he was upset by the movie too. But he's an actor. He did the best he could, I guess.
Okay. It pays the bills.
Well, and it was the highest paid check he's ever gotten in his life, I bet too.
yeah. He probably has enough money, though.
Well, but then I wonder,
Now.
because everybody's under constant NDAs, so he didn't know what he was getting into until he was into it. And you even see in the behind the scenes things in The Last Jedi. Hey, Ryan, are you sure you want to do this? Hey, Ryan, I don't think that this is how Luke would do it. Can we at least see Luke and 3PO do this? And He was not a happy camper.
What I really love is
No.
John Boyega's Twitter. Oh,
Oh,
damn!
man.
I thoroughly look forward to someone bringing up Star Wars or something like that. Where was the one they complained? They said the same thing over again, and he's like paid, or something to that effect, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, he's just unleashed.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see Finn as a Jedi.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
And I think even more so, I think, and people turn around, oh, you just didn't want a girl to be a Jedi. No, we all fully knew that Rey was going to be. We had no problems with both of them. That was the thing. We thought we were going to get 2 Jedi, and that was what I loved about the fact that, the opportunity that neither one of them didn't necessarily have to be a Solo or a Skywalker either,
See,
I mean, not that I mind, but
I actually would have liked if he wasn't a Jedi, but if he was like a skilled lightsaber user or something, or like able to combat people that can use the Force, like train against Rey or something, so that when he goes up against Kylo, he can hold his own and maybe counteract some Force abilities or something, like be able to learn what to avoid. Maybe that'd be interesting. It's a stormtrooper learning how to fight, one-on-one with the Jedi.
Well, it's stupid. They put him out in battle, and he's just supposed to be a janitor, and he's
that
had
made
no real formal training or what.
That made less sense when they said he was a janitor. It's like you could have just said he was a recruit, but it's like no, he's a janitor, and that's why he's on the field now.
Yeah, and it actually destroyed Captain Phasma, who was supposed to be an elite warrior. She lost to the janitor.
He was stolen as a baby for his janitorial abilities because of his blood quantum.
Okay, and this has something to do back with the prequels too, I guess, with the baby things. It's like, okay, if people say that was bad in the prequels, I can agree, but it's like it's way worse what they imply with the sequels, with taking how many kids from birth at once and raising them. Imagine raising like 1 million babies. That's what they're implying with the sequel trilogy, right? Like that's what they kind of did with the First Order, is like at the same time, not over years they did this, but at the same time they took babies.
What's funny is it's the same exact thing the Jedi were doing, basically.
Well, it's like technically, but it's like the Jedi did that over a long period of time, and it wasn't like every baby. There was specific babies.
What's funny is that they got this far, considering Finn basically says he doesn't remember his family. So that means since basically the end of the last film, they've been just snatching babies, and nobody's done a fucking thing about it.
That's what I'm saying. And then think about the people who have to raise the babies. Like they're still babies. Like they're infant. Dumb babies. Like, I'm trying to imagine a stormtrooper. I'm imagining a stormtrooper at daycare or something.
Unless they do some deal where I don't understand either, because it makes no sense. Like you would think there'd be some kind of crazy uprising, or people would be getting so behind, the resistance or whatever. And again, the whole problem fundamentally with the whole bit is that it totally disregards everything that happened at the end of Return of the Jedi. And again, we're left with the same thing that we get at the beginning of The Rise of Skywalker, which is 10 times worse, actually. Because the fact that the Emperor has this big-ass motherfucking fleet like that, just, it raises so many more questions than it does anything else. And you're just like...
I got into an argument with somebody about the Palpatine and his plan things. He was saying, like, it makes sense within the universe that he would have another backup plan for, like, the Final Order or something. I'm like, okay, it was one thing when he was like undercover and kind of playing both sides and pitted, the galaxy against each other to be elected to be the leader of the galaxy. That was one thing, and having his empire.
Let's talk about the Final Order for just 1 second here, just to interrupt you, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That isn't a perfect example of how, I swear to God, this is how JJ writes stories. That's like a fill-in. Like, that was never meant to be what it was supposed to be called. They're like, oh, we'll come up with something better when we think of it.
Yeah, back in the old canon, it was called the Imperial Remnants because it was the leftovers.
It's the placeholder. It's the placeholder until you
exactly, and it ends up in the movie in the end. Because, like, listen to the Wayfinders, This is JJ rhetoric. This is his fucking bullshit over and over. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jeff. I did.
That basically fills in with my point. It's like he went through all these years of planning and scheming, and whether or not things would have worked out perfectly, I feel like things would have shifted a certain way anyway. It's like he basically was able to rule the galaxy. He won. He basically won, and then we're supposed to believe that no. Since before he was even elected or around there, he was secretly having like millions of people also like just off to the side building this other army for years, like and with all the material and every that's a big what the fuck, like while he already was ruling the galaxy, he just had a backup army of like more than what they were and all able to. It took them over 20 or 30 years to figure out the Death Star technology, and not just put it on everything. Like the amount. Oh my God, there's just so much with it that is stupid. But the guy was arguing with me saying, no, if you can't believe that he had this huge backup army, then you can't understand Star Wars at all.
Yeah, because it's not like they needed everything they had during the Clone Wars, right? So
the purpose of the Death Star was it took that much mass to generate something to kill a planet. You put it on something the size of a Star Destroyer.
Well, it wasn't even anything that was meant to be used that often. It was just more of a threat. It was an intimidation factor.
Right.
Like, if you guys get out of line, we will blow you up.
It was more or less a symbolism of a nuclear missile stockpile, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it wasn't meant to be a weapon to actually just blow up planets all the time. It's like, hey, everybody just be cool, go about your day. But if you piss us off too much, you rebel against us.
No, because you're right, because that's pretty much what what's his face? I can't think of his name now all of a sudden.
Tarkin.
Peter Cushing. Tarkin, yeah. That's basically what he's saying. He's like, we blow one of these fucking planets up, these bitches ain't gonna give us no trouble now, are they? And then they're like, oh, it's on Dantooine. No, that's too small. We're gonna blow up one of these motherfuckers so they notice that we mean business.
Yeah,
he's acting like a pimp with that bitch. He knows, and you're right. That's exactly the point. He knows all he's got to do is show one instance of what this weapon is capable of doing, and everybody else is going to be just like, holy shit.
It's kind of like Grand Moff Tarkin blowing things in all the wrong places.
Freaking stupid. But
sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's just funny because he's like, how can you suspend your disbelief about everything else in Star Wars if you can't believe that Palpatine also has this extra full army of everything?
Because you already had to make me believe that at the end of The Last Jedi, that was all that was left of the Resistance and all that was left of the New Order.
Well, it's like even going back to like the prequels, it's like with the droid army and the clone army, it's like they made it pretty clear that that's a difficult thing to kind of do and sustain, and that the droid, they've been doing that for a while, and it's like this is like half the galaxy is all working together to support the clones and support the droids. So it's like that kind of makes sense for what it is within the sci-fi universe, but they couldn't just spawn extra armies secretly. Like that's as big as the galaxy. They can just take over tomorrow. Like, I don't know. Too ridiculous.
So how do we go to this? So Vader lifts Palpatine, walks over to the precipice, throws him down. It goes, and then where does Sidious come from in Episode 9?
They imply that he just like farts into existence again because they said he died before. So that's fine.
Oh. So he turns into fart molecules and reconstitutes himself on Exegol.
This is one of the
times. I am the Sith.
It's like
I am all the Sith.
I am shit.
That line pissed me off kind of too. It's just like, what sense does that make? I don't know either. Because I am all the Sith. I'm everyone. We're all here chilling.
I am every single voice you have ever heard in your head. And next voice I do is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then then I'm going to do some Robin Williams. Hold on. Whoa, it's going over. It's going crazy. Just wait.
I think they had lots of late night pillow talk, if that's the case.
Then I'll do George Carlin.
And then he announces his attack. You know,
Yeah.
if he had done that during Order 66, it wouldn't have worked.
I'm sorry, Christy. We got back onto Star Wars.
Get away from the Star Wars.
Hard to, yeah.
There was somebody in the chat, or I almost spit up my damn Sprite. I was laughing so hard about what did they say? Anakin, you're breaking my neck.
You said that so perfectly too.
That's great.
Well, that was one thing that did bother me, because actually I do like episode 3, except for a few things.
Yeah, that
And
one moment.
one of the main things is not so much that, but when she's dying because she's lost the will to live. It was the dumbest line I'd ever heard in my life. Now, you just had this woman who'd been choked, just gave birth, and she was alive long enough to name these kids. And she's losing the will to live. You just became a mama, and you're losing the will to live. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Ever.
There's more to that too. It's also her character is literally that of like she's a fighter. She was a young senator on the planet. She was just she was being hunted by assassins through episode 2.
Right.
I know they kind of slack off on that a bit. That's because she's on her own planet guarded by Jedi. I mean, there's reasons why maybe nothing's going on, but it's like she's been a fighter this whole time. She seemed like the kind of person that, if anything, would wake up more determined than ever to try to get Anakin back anyway. Like, still try to at least lessen damage caused by him, try to help other people, raise her kids. Like, she's like, no, I'm going to give birth to my kids and then screw off. That seems cheap. You think she'd want to.
I'm sorry, but any woman here, do you have kids, Christy?
Hell no.
Okay, so I just thought I'd ask because you're a woman in the any woman who's actually listening. If there happens to be any women listening in the chat and you have kids, tell me right goddamn now, if you just had a baby, you just be like, nope, I can't live anymore and die.
You know what? I don't have children, but I love my nieces to death. And this reminds me when my uncle's story time. My uncle's ex, she had my cousin. And she let my uncle take home that baby at he was released like 2 days after the hospital. So then my uncle raised him for a year. And it baffled me so much how she could just let that baby.
Well, but that's still not losing the will to live. That's usually either because there's
You get what I'm saying though? It's just it's the same thing where you think they would have the will to. Padme would want to have the will to raise.
Yeah, I get it. So now the difference is probably with your sister, it was either like a chemical imbalance in herself, or she was suffering from some kind of postmortem depression, or sometimes women are just selfish and they just decide they don't want to. But I mean, the doctor droid just could have been like, she just been choked and dropped and
her windpipe
thrown around, her windpipe's crushed.
Her windpipe's too narrow to breathe, so she's dying.
We can save the babies, but she's gone. Yeah,
she was able to talk and be like, Luke.
That was another stupid thing. She should have never named the kids. It should have been her choice.
That should not bring any significance to the characters either. So.
No, they should have just had Ben name Luke, and then they should have just had Jiminy Smits from NYPD Blues. What's his name in the movie? Organa, Bail Organa. He could have just named her. That's all. I'll name her Leia after my mother.
Yeah. Well, you'd think that she'd have more motivation to live after giving birth to her kid.
That's my point. And that's the thing.
With Anakin being evil, and she just gave birth to her kids, she'd want to make sure.
But it doesn't go with the story and the narrative though, because if she would have lived, would that not pull Anakin back from being Darth Vader though? So
now I don't know, maybe Stig, you can answer this or not. I don't know if this was in any of the novelizations or not, and I'm not talking about so much EU but the actual novelizations of the movies. But I heard the popular thing was, until the prequels came out, that she lived, and they gave Luke away because they knew that Vader, if they knew he had a son, he was going to come after him. But she lived and went off with Leia And then when Return of the Jedi, when they made her the sister, that's why she says, yes, I remember my mother, and she was always very sad. So the rumor was, or the idea was, or the prominent like idea was, is that she killed herself after Vader kind of became, this thing
Or-
in the Empire.
She could have been killed by other means at some point.
Yeah, but they kind of like her saying that she was very sad all the time kind of led you to believe that at some point she probably took her own life.
Saw what it became.
Yeah, it's probably in one of the drafts. He had a bunch of drafts, but
Yeah.
the reason Padme died though was that she had a Force vision and she saw what's going to happen in Episode 9 and 8. Yeah, my son is never going to matter and he's going to die.
This stick to get us the truth.
Yeah,
She
and
saw-
then
she
Leia's going to
foresaw
turn into a
Rey.
crazy feminist. And fuck that. So she just.
Oh my god,
killed her.
that's a great theory.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. See, what's funny is that if you guys know Bandit Incorporated, he did how he would do the prequels type of video series, and the way he had it was it played out extremely differently than the paths of the prequels in general. And one of them was that Anakin and Obi-Wan they ended up doing like a final fight together, not against each other, and just kind of like agreed like at this point we just gotta go our separate ways because Anakin was going down the Sith path big time with Palpatine and whatnot, and just already completely disagreed and all that. But the reason why he didn't stay with Padme was that he didn't want her to see him like this in that version. Was like, I can't have the love of my life see me doing the things I'm doing now. Like by this point in Episode 3, he's already been doing some evil shit, and
Well,
that was an interesting way to do it because then it kind of made more sense with the lines from the original, which I think that you would like, Tom, because like that, he did it based off of lines in the original and did his version of the prequels, which I thought was all right.
Also, Anakin had lost his legs and probably his genitalia and his arms, and she didn't want to have to deal with that for the rest of her life. But she just shit. I'm not gonna wipe his ass.
Are you saying she's like an ableist or whatever, kind of?
Yeah, she just no. Screw this. Just no.
All that
He's like, I'll be good now. I'll be good now, and then she's like, "No, you cripple. Fuck that."
All that death do us part shit did not say anything about no-legged, no-dicked, burned up bacon bullshit.
Burned up bacon boy.
He probably smelled like bacon.
Oh yeah. That's why that's why Obi-Wan had to leave because he was gonna eat him if he stayed too long because he smelled so good.
Do you know what Anakin's favorite video game is?
Hold on.
I
want to try to guess because I have no idea because I have no idea what you're going to say with that. I have no idea where you're going with that.
Well, it's Space Invader.
Musical squares.
One year weaker, one Stig.
Yeah, that wasn't very good. You're gonna have to work on that one. Unless I'm missing that, or I'm missing something there.
Yeah, Space Invade her.
No, Space Invader.
Oh, Invader. Got it. Even more clever.
Wrong timing of the joke.
Even better, more clever than I expected it to be. See.
I feel like that if you said that we're talking about her giving birth, that would have, I don't know, would have made sense.
You have a wave.
The problem with Highlander is there can be only one.
I never saw Highlander, Tom.
See the first one.
Such a rub.
And then that's about it.
Did you like the TV series, Tom?
I didn't mind it so much, but see, I'm a Connor fan, so like, I didn't like the soap opera-y women. Like, here's my thing: I have like a stigma with it.
Stigma with women?
No. With the series itself.
Well, in a way, it was like a quintessential '90s show.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing: is I had my son's mother actually, which is ironic, I guess, was a huge motherfucking Highlander fan, right? And I'd liked the movie, but I never really got into the show. I watched it here and there; it was all right, but I kind of felt that it was just a little too soap opera-y compared to the movie, right? But she was just like in love with Adrian Paul. So like I never really thought I really after a while I just got sick of the series. Like I really got sick of it. And like because she was just obsessed with him and all that shit. And then I got really pissed at Highlander Endgame because of the way that fucking movie ended.
Oh, fuck that movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so pissed walking out of that movie.
Yeah.
And she was like trying to make excuses for it and shit. I'm like, no, fuck that. They killed Connor McLeod for no good fucking reason.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, he did it so he could get. No, I'm like, fuck that noise. That was bullshit. They should have fought together. I don't care. Fuck the rules. The other guy was breaking the rules. Yeah, I was just going off. You know, I was just like,
I was more of a Xena fan than anything.
I didn't mind Xena. It was all right.
I liked Xena. It was all right. It was very corny-ish, and some of that was fine, but I liked it for the most part.
Highlander, or not Highlander, but the other one, Hercules was okay too at that time period. But yeah,
That's where Xena came from.
but they're supposed to be doing a remake of Highlander. I don't know what state it's in anymore, but I'm not totally against it.
Are
Because
they
it's some-
aliens, Tom?
No, I hope they're not Xenos or whatever the fuck they were.
Zeist.
Zeiss or whatever. Yeah.
The Zypod.
And of course, the only version you can find now is the recut version. You can't get the other version anymore. So
Which version was that? The original?
yeah, you can't find the original Quickening anymore. Not unless you want to buy it on like some bootleg off of probably a laser disc or a tape. I don't think it's ever been released on DVD. I think it's only been on VHS once or twice. That's
I still
about it.
have Howard the Duck on VHS.
I got a DVD set of all of them together on DVD.
Does it have the original version of 2 on it?
I think it might.
Then it might have been released once on DVD. That's possible.
Yeah,
Because
it
the version
was-
I have on DVD is the Renegade cut, and then they redid the Renegade cut for Blu-ray, and it's just called Highlander 2 now. I don't think it even has the quick. I'd have to look and see if it has the Quickening as the title, but like it's a bit different version of the Renegade version.
Yeah, I have that. I have the Quickening one.
Yeah, if they did release it on DVD, I never got the original version. I only got the Renegade one.
Yeah, it was
so.
it was a Voodoo deal where it came. It was by the digital, and there was also the DVDs that came along with it. And I got Spider-Man set that way too. Of DVD.
Oh, I'll have to check that out because I wouldn't mind having the original. Just I mean, like a completist like that, just for like, you know, just for reference and shit. And I have not seen that version since it was, you know, like way back when I first seen it for the first time.
Right.
And then after that, it was always the Renegade version. So, and I mean, I don't hate part 2 altogether, but there's obviously, I mean, it has major fucking issues. But the third film, I think, tried to fix a lot of those issues. But was the series already on when the third film came out? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I know it wasn't it right around the mid '80s when the series was on? Because I kind of watched it too.
No, I think it started like 90, 91, somewhere in there. Maybe even a little later, because that's what I'm trying to remember. Because I know the third
probably
movie.
late '90s.
Because I know the third movie come out in 92 or 3, I think. And Endgame was like 90, or no, Endgame was 2001. That I remember now. So yeah, the series would have ended by then. I think the series ran from like, I want to say like 93 or 94 to like 6 or 7 maybe. I don't know. I've got them all. I still have them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It ran for 6 seasons, and then they had the spinoff. I've got that one too.
Yeah, that version you're talking is Highlander 2: The Quickening.
Yeah, the regular theatrical one.
Yeah, it's available on Voodoo.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Voodoo does that sometimes. It's kind of weird because Voodoo lists like Jason Goes to Hell is the theatrical version, and it's actually the director's cut or whatever.
Because I got it through, Highlander 5 movie collection is what I got it through.
They might have re-released it again at some point, but yeah, the Blu-ray I have is only that new Renegade version where they just tweaked some of the
when you
stuff in
search
it.
for it, just search Highlander 5 movie collection on Voodoo, and you'll find it.
All right, I'll check that out.
And the Highlander 2 Quickening is in there. and I got a
Nice.
physical copy too. And I got a upscaling Blu-ray player, LG, and I put it in there, and it looks just as good as a Blu-ray.
Well, I've got Blu-rays of the first film, second film, obviously with the one version, and then I've got an import of Part 3 and Endgame on Blu-ray, and the fifth film with Adrian Paul. I'm trying to think what the hell it was called, The Source or something like that. And I also have that one on Blu-ray too. But yeah, the third and fourth and fifth one have never been here in Blu-ray in US.
When I seen that 5-disc set, I was just as surprised as you when I seen it. I was like, "Wow, cool!" Because I couldn't
I'll have to
remember
check
the
that
last
out.
time I seen The Quickening.
The regular version, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're aliens and they're instead of time travelers or whatever. Highlander 2 never happened, in my opinion. In most people's opinions. What are you laughing at, Christy?
That comment right there. Highlander 2 never happened, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, most people's opinions, it didn't. So, I mean, I didn't mind the third one. I thought it was all right. Okay, so he says the series made the
dimension.
Yeah. See, he says the series made the third movie happen, but it's strange that they didn't cross over the universe in that movie and they waited to that fourth film to do it.
Yeah, you're talking about the end game.
Yeah, and I also felt like Endgame had a lot of the same kind of isms that the Trek movies had with the Next Generation. Like, it was almost like they were totally different characters at times than they were in the series. It was weird. And there's that total alternate cut that's on the DVD of Endgame, which I also have. I don't know if that version's on the one you have or not, but it's like a rough cut. It's not even a finished version of the film. Like, it even still has like all the time codes and shit on it and stuff, but it's like a rough VHS cut of the movie that's like 2 hours long. It was always on the bonus disc of the original Dimension DVD. I don't think they carried it over when Lionsgate bought them out.
How long is it?
The regular movie, I think, is only like an hour and 40 some minutes or something like that. It'd say it. It's not like a watchable version of the. Yeah, so that's like the regular version. Yeah, the other version's just like it's. Yeah, it's no, not Final Dimension. Endgame is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if
it was like one of those early special editions, and they actually had like a work print version of it on the second disc. It was kind of cool back then to see a different version of the movie. Anyway, if it's not on there, you'll have to buy the 2-disc version. Yeah.
This comes with the original Highlander, the first one, Highlander 2, The Quickening, Final Dimension, and then the one with the one in Endgame, and then the Highlander, The Source.
Yeah, because see what happened is the first two Highlander movies were produced by Republic Pictures or whatever, and they had a deal through like Live Video or whoever it was, and then Live Video was bought up by Lionsgate. I think sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s. So then for the longest time, Lionsgate owned the first two movies, but they didn't own anything after that because Dimension bought the rights to the movie franchise or whatever after that. So 3 and 4 were released through Dimension. And then just oddly enough, like a few years back, Lionsgate bought all of Dimension and Miramax's catalog. So now they have all the Highlander movies together. So it's kind of just happened to work out that way for that series anyway. I know that's stupid nerdy shit, but
no,
that's really why I work at Midnight's Edge.
Because I'm hoping for if they're gonna go with the rebooted Highlander, I hope they're gonna do it justice.
I hope so. I mean, you could do a really good take on it. It's not something that's completely untouchable. It's had several shitty sequels. It's had a TV show. It's obviously got potential to be a franchise if you do it right. You know, like that was kind of the problem with the first movie, was that it was set up to be a one shot. You know, they didn't really set it up for any sequels.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of actors that I've watched in the past that would probably be good as a Connor McLeod. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I got to think about the shows I've been watching that have Scottish accents.
Well, I know what's sad is for the longest time, I think Ewan McGregor was attached to it, and then can't remember who the last person was that was attached to it now. But they were never bad choices. They were always pretty decent choices. But it just never got off the ground. I don't know why. And they even had some decent directors and shit attached to them, but I'm trying to remember where it's sitting now. Let me look it up here real quick.
There's a series that I watch. Is it Outlander?
The last update was from January of last year, it looks like. So that's been dead in the water. I wouldn't even take this with a grain of salt at this point. So I'm sure at this point, either it's dead or something new's come across since then. That's a year ago, and we ain't seen the movie or any kind of movement. So, yeah.
I'm so looking forward to the reboot of Walker Texas Ranger. There we
Are
go.
you for real? Are you being?
Oh hell no! I want to wait and see because I mean it was filmed here locally where I live throughout the entire metroplex, the DFW area, and so hopefully that's why I kind of look for series like that.
Do you think it's something that will live on past Chuck Norris, or
no? Absolutely not. Just
that's
reading
what I
the
was curious. Is I don't think it will.
Just reading the articles and stuff like that. I like it because Jared Padalecki, he's from Texas, so that's a plus for him. But just reading some of the articles that have been published, I'm just like, I want to be positive this year because I was slightly negative last year with the whole reboots and sequels and stuff like that, and I want to be kind of positive.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's understandable, and I wouldn't want to take that away from anybody.
But we'll wait and see. I don't even think it's coming out until next year anyway. But
probably I don't think so. I think, but speaking of shows that like reboots and stuff, I guess I heard that Hawaii 5-0 has been canceled. So.
Oh really?
A Kurtzman show gone. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, that's what I was told.
Well, the actor that I was thinking of is the guy that plays Jamie in Outlander. He's a Scot.
What's his real name? Do you know?
I'm looking it up right now.
I was gonna say because I do remember somebody being attached to one a while back, but again, it looks like there's been no movement on it for a year now, so I don't think we're getting anything. At least not anytime soon.
Sorry.
I know you guys are screwing around in the freaking.
No. I'm looking at Vertical Horizons comment.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a Cats too. Sure we will.
That would freak me out.
Meow. That would freak you out, huh? We'll get a Fritz the Cat movie before we get a Cats 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Was it James Corden? He did what the hell is it, his show? Is it just called James Corden The Late Late Show? And he did the eat the nasty foods and everything challenge, and he said he liked the experience of Cats and he liked the people there. But yeah, he still evaded that question. That was such a horrible movie. If you like that movie, good for you.
Well, not only that, it's like 20 years too late. Like, I remember Cats being a big thing when I was a kid. Like, the play started, I think, in like the early 80s or late 70s. What you get there, Bear?
Sam Heughan, I believe, is how you pronounce his last name. Heughan, because it's Heughan.
Okay, I don't think that's the name that I heard, but
he plays Jamie Fraser, and it's Fraser is how it's pronounced, I believe. And I watched the show. It's a really, really cool show. It's one of my guilty pleasures. because there's a lot of stuff going on that basically time travel, number one, and it's time travel basically via the stone circles. And a lot of people believe a lot of things about those stone circles and weird things happen around them. Um, Being that my on my dad's side, from Scotland, also from Ireland and England, so there's a lot of superstition there involved with a lot of stuff like that. So I find it strikes me funny, so I watch it.
Where are you from, McLeod? Lots of different places.
So I think he would play a good Connor.
All right, I'll have to check him out. I hope that something happens with it. That's one that I was like, I'm one of those where I don't necessarily hate remakes and reboots per se, as long as they're handled with care and there's something that aren't like Back to the Future or Jaws, something that's so iconic that no, you just should not mess with it, But like Last Starfighter, Highlander, there's probably a good half dozen movies we could all probably throw off the top of our heads that
Isn't
didn't
the guy
reach their
that
full potential.
the guy that played in the Last Starfighter, the pilot, he's what, in his 50s right now?
Yeah. He's been. I think he still acts. I'm trying to think of his name offhand.
They should get him to make another one
Lance Guest.
because I like that movie.
They have been trying to do one. I don't know if it's going to be a reboot or a sequel, but I've been hearing a lot of shit about it now for about a year and a half now. So I don't know how far that's gotten along or not. I know it was in preliminary stages, and the director had put out a bunch of artwork, but I haven't heard anything since. So I don't know if it died on the vine or what.
Hey Tom, have you heard anything about the House of Dragon series? The prequel for Game of Thrones, Targaryen?
I'm not sure. I can't remember now if that's the one that got picked up or not. There was only one of them I think that got picked up, and the other one didn't.
The other one, that was the one that George said was going forward, and the article
Okay, then
nothing.
Yeah, because the one with the main chick as the star, or whatever, that one didn't get picked up. Blood Moon, that's the one I think. Yeah, that was the one they actually filmed the pilot for and spent a bunch of money on, and then decided not to do it because it was too woke, according to rumors. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that other series is still going ahead, but I haven't heard anything about it offhand. Andre keeps up more with the Game of Thrones stuff.
I know.
They're gonna do a Escape from New York remake though with
fucking The Rock or whatever. Yes.
No,
serious?
Kurt Russell's son.
Oh,
Really?
that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's Escape from New York. I was thinking of Big Trouble in Little China. Sorry.
So Kurt Russell has a son that's in acting.
Yeah, he
Really?
was in the Fast and Furious movie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Scott Eastwood? No, not Scott Eastwood.
That's Clint Eastwood's son.
I know.
I like some of the movies he's in too.
Don't tell Clint it's really Russell's kid.
That's bullshit. Because you look at that kid, he looks like his dad.
looks like
Holy shit! I mean, you can see a little bit of his mom in there, but he's got his dad's face.
He's got that hard mile-long stare.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk like his dad, though. He doesn't have that thing.
I'm sure he could learn to.
Yeah, just smoke like 10 packs of non-filters a day, yeah.
And just drink whiskey with the broken glass.
That too.
Pack a Pall Mall, regular kind, straights.
What are you doing? There's glass in that. You mean there's another kind of whiskey?
I'd like a shot of Jack Daniels with broken light bulbs in it.
That's flavor.
That's gonna make me snort.
That's another one, Fluffy Panda. Flight of the Navigator, another film that could definitely. It's not untouchable. It was great, but it's definitely of its era, and you could redo it today with a modern twist. Definitely.
I think I've actually seen that. Is that one with that kid that like finds an alien spaceship or something?
Yeah, and it actually has Pee Wee Herman in it.
I think we had it recorded on the VHS tape, or at least part of it on one of our tape. So I think I've seen some of that.
Too many Twinkies.
I don't remember Pee Wee Herman being in it though. See, I'm getting that mixed up with.
He does the voice of the ship. So when he starts
Flight of
out,
the Navigator.
Okay, 'cause I don't remember the voice.
When he starts out, he sounds all like this. Okay, navigator, affirmative, and stuff like that. And he's like, we really need to work on your voice or whatever. And he's like, you need to laugh a little bit. And he's like, laugh? I do not laugh, navigator, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, laugh. And then like the one kids were laughing. He's like, is that laughing? He's like, yeah, you should give it a shot. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Then from there on out, he sounds like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Because it's Paul Rubens, but he for some reason went under the name Paul Mall. I don't know why, but it was at the time when Pee Wee was at its height. So I'm thinking he didn't want them using Pee Wee to promote the movie when Pee Wee wasn't in it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did also have Back to the Beach on that same VHS tape, I think.
Now he's actually in that. Even though it's just one cameo, they use that to sell the fuck out of that movie, and that's probably what pissed him off.
Actually annoying because he's hardly in it and has nothing to do with it, and it's it's one of those old timey weird movies.
That's probably what pissed him off, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying this from any kind of knowledge, but if I had to guess, being that those movies came out very close to the same time, he was probably pissed that like that movie used the fact that he was in the movie for a very small bit, because it was in every single fucking trailer that Pee Wee Herman was in that movie.
Yeah, when I looked up trailer footage for Back to the Beach, he's in half the trailer. And
like almost every one of them, because I remember when that movie came out. That's why I wanted to go see it. It was because Pee Wee fucking Herman was in it.
They had Gilligan's Island, The Love Boat, and Pee Wee Herman.
I mean, it actually turned out to be a semi-decent movie. It's a throwback. For those who don't know, it's got Annette Funicello and what's his face, the other guy.
What's his facers and the Gilligan's Island guy.
Well, anyway, but it's a throwback to all the old beach movies from the '60s and shit, is what it is.
Yeah.
Tom, did you see Fantasy Island, the one with Michael? Whatever his last name is, the movie that came out recently.
The newest one, no.
Oh,
Michael Pena, no.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about '90s and that are old TV shows, and that one popped up to mind. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with that show, and when I think about it, I don't think of horror. So.
See, like, and I've seen some random old ones. So, like, even though I still haven't seen all the classics, I've seen some random ones, like Back to the Beach and whatnot, and the Flight of the Navigator and stuff. So there's random ones that I've seen.
So y'all don't mind if I spoil the end of the movie, do you?
Flight of the Navigator's never been released on Blu-ray, has it?
Technically, no, not in the U.S., but you can import 2 different Blu-rays that are actually region-free, and I have them both.
Spoil which
because I just found it for $5.99.
Yeah, the DVD's been out for a while. The DVD's not horrible. There is a new special edition Blu-ray though that you gotta, and I think you can get it on Amazon even though it's imported. But yeah, it's even got like the kid in it all grown up in the interviews and some other shit on there. It's kind of cool.
It's $14.99 on Vudu, and it's $5.99.
Yeah, it's probably because it's in HD on Vudu. That's why.
Yeah, they do have a HD.
But I think that's on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus, I think it's already on there. I'm not 100% if it's on Disney Plus though. I'd have to look. It's worth if you. I'll see if I can find a link for you. It's worth if you like that movie enough. It's worth importing or buying the imported version of it. That special edition. Yeah, it's worth it. It comes with a really nice book, and there's I think an audio commentary, and of course like interview with like the kid and a few other people and stuff. And,
yeah, I have like 466 movies on Vudu, and a lot of those were physical buys. I got the physical copy.
Yeah, I like to do that. I know what you're talking. I like to do the disc to digital or digital to disc. I mean, the other way around, where you buy it, whichever way it is, both ways. I'll do it both ways. But like the newer ones, I'll buy the digital when I get the disc in the mail after it comes out or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes there's been on some of the Vudu new releases, I've been able to buy the digital, and I've been immediately able to watch the digital while I wait for the physical copy to come to the house.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll get digital to disc, and yeah, that's what it's called or whatever. Yeah, to where
Because it's
it'll.
basically the opposite.
Yeah.
I just buy the whole thing, and I get a copy in the mail.
Exactly. Yep, that's what I do. Yep, that's what I do. That's what I was trying to say.
Because
Damn.
every now and then, because I found the Spider-Man five disc setup on Voodoo that way, and it was
Yeah, I didn't
only
know they really did it with
$9.99.
older ones because I'd have to look.
It
I
was
haven't done
nine
it too
ninety
much,
nine,
but
and I think all of them were available as well.
usually I get just the newer movies. I didn't even know they did it with some of the older ones. I'd have to look more
Oh, I
often.
think it was a fluke, man. Because if it's still around, I would be surprised. Because normally the physical copy you can't normally it doesn't stay
They
there very
did,
long.
I think, just release those like 2 or 3 years ago in 4K and stuff. So that might have been when you. When did you buy them?
Oh, not that long ago, about 6 months ago.
Oh, okay. So this still should be up there, unless it was just yeah. Who knows?
DVD.
Well,
It
Walmart.
came with a special editions.
Yeah. Well, Walmart bought Voodoo, which is when they started doing that.
Yep, it certainly did.
Which is kind of counterproductive because in the end, then if you do that, you end up usually with an extra digital copy you can just give to somebody, which is kind of weird.
Right, and once upon a time, you used to be able to share your account with someone else's account. You share your movies to theirs, and then they share their movies to yours.
Who says
Well,
you can't still do that?
you cannot do that no more. They got rid of it.
Oh, you're talking about that. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yes, that particular thing. You cannot share a Voodoo account
Yeah,
with
I know what
another
he's
Voodoo
talking
account.
about. They
Um,
kind of do something similar with is it Xbox, where
uh,
like you can have two people can share like their game library or whatever.
I'm not sure. Never
I
been
don't
an
know. I know
Xbox owner.
they're trying to restrict it to
Yeah,
usually
they were.
Yeah.
they're trying to go if you have one
Well,
copy of disk or file, then you cannot use it on another one. But they got shut down big time because nobody wanted that.
so basically, me and my brother-in-law were grandfathered, so I can see the majority of his movies, and he can see the majority of mine.
That's cool.
And because we got grandfathered. But you know how they notified us? They updated a 2014 memo on Voodoo's customer service website in 2017 when they were going to stop doing that and stop allowing. So you had up until that point to go in and share accounts with each other to get it grandfathered.
Oh, I didn't even know about it then. Yeah, but I will say this about them: they are much easier to deal with than the shit that I've heard that people have had to deal with, like iTunes and crap.
That is
Oh,
true. That is
I
true.
hate
And
There
they're very
was
easy to get a hold of, actually, believe it or not.
there was like a week where I didn't have access to my movies and Voodoo customer service. They pretty much there was some real big problems. It was the transition when they were going from the one music library and the new one that just came in, Movies Anywhere. I think that it is. I think they were having technical problems and they got them fixed.
Yeah, what happened is they combined Movies Anywhere and Ultraviolet and Voodoo all together, and Movies Anywhere I think was owned by Disney, and then Walmart ended up buying up Voodoo after that. So it was like this whole big conglomeration thing.
I
But
lost. There was some movies that I lost, and they couldn't explain how I lost them.
yeah, it was probably because of licensing bullshit. What movies were they?
It was the special edition Superman movie.
Ah, yeah.
It
There's
wasn't the
that
TV. It
too.
wasn't the made for TV version one. It was the
Hmm.
other special edition.
See, now that's the other thing that people have know, and that's not exclusive to any specific uh, one of these services. It has all to do with the licensing, and if you don't download them to your system or whatever, then there's always a possibility that they could lose it, and you will lose it, and
Right.
they'll just be like, "Oh, sorry, I can't do anything about it." Now, like I said, Voodoo's generally better about it than some, but it depends on what you're needing the customer service for. Because now, like from iTunes, from what I heard, because they lost a couple of titles on theirs, and people were complaining, and some of these people would lose like 3 or 4 titles in their library, and they get a hold of iTunes, and iTunes would give them like a free rental.
Hmm. As far as I
Not a
know,
free movie, but a free
free
rental.
rental. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As far as I know, uh, Voodoo customer service they're fairly okay. You know, not near as bad as having to deal with Amazon customer service.
Right, and I like that you can at least get them on the phone because if you know how to get
Yeah,
their phone number, it's real easy and quick to get a hold of them. And
right.
they're every one of them I've dealt with has been real nice. So,
And
I mean, I
they actually have a tech department.
yeah, because one time I even called and just complained about the quality on the computer compared to the television, and he flat out told me he's like, "Yeah, we're dealing with some shit right now." He didn't say it like that, but he's like,
Right.
"You know, we're dealing with some shit right now." He goes, "The next few days it should work, but that's all I can tell you." I'm like, "Well, thanks for being honest." I said, "You know, most people would just give you the fucking runaround and tell you that, you know, they don't understand what's going on. It must be you." You know, I mean, at least you just came flat out and said you guys were having some technical problems right now with the desktop version. Totally cool with that. I understand. I'll deal with it. So I just went and watched it on a PS4 in HD. You know, I improvise. I'd rather deal with something like that instead of somebody give me a bunch of bullshit excuses or I don't know, maybe it's your fault.
Right.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah. Another thing that Voodoo also did is they pulled support for rooted Android devices. If you have a rooted Android device, Voodoo will not work.
I don't know much about that, so
Because I have a couple Android TV boxes, and they work really
right.
good. Um, it's what I use for alternative for Netflix other when the Netflix on TV goes wonky or Prime, and there's a couple movie apps I use on there as well, and it works real good. It's high definition. It's 4K, and for some reason, when I had the Voodoo app working, I messed with something and it stopped working. I used some kind of program to mask the root in in the Android operating system, and I somehow got it masked, and I got Voodoo working, and then something changed, and then it stopped working again. Very,
Um,
very temperamental machines, Android TV boxes.
yeah,
I've learned how to flash load the software from scratch on those things from a laptop to those things. Um,
my techie side of things kind of went out the window years ago, so I just pay for stuff or use like my PS.
Me too.
well, well, think of it this way. I just bought like a $89 4 GB memory Android TV box, 4K. It was a pretty decent one too, and I just soft bricked it. So I
You
had to
did
figure
what?
out how to. I soft bricked it.
It's
What the hell
basically
is that?
it's where you
Basically,
basically destroy it, but not,
what it was doing is it was going from Android boot logo to reboot to Android boot logo in a circle. So basically soft boot.
you screwed up the
Yeah,
software. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mind
So
went there.
so basically, I found the rock chip software for that box, and I installed it from scratch. But you see, I had a bunch of other Android TV boxes, so I learned how on those, and then I restored this one here, and it was all because I messed it up myself.
let's put it this way: I'm surprised if it wasn't for the fact that there's tons of YouTube videos out there that walked me through it step by step. I would have never been able to add more games to like my Nintendo Mini and my NES Mini, SNES Mini. You know, I still haven't done it to the mini Genesis yet, but that's because they don't have a good way of doing it without buying certain things and doing things. So it's like, I can just play them on the computer.
Yeah, I've and I've been savvy that way with computers because when I got this MSI laptop, it wasn't exactly ready to go. There was definitely some issues that were going on with it because basically for my sound, I use a StarTech import, USB import for the sound
Sorry, I had to laugh
and
at
my
Colin
headset.
Newke's. Are we in an Apple cafe? I know. Yeah, we're getting
Yeah,
really techie now. We can
yeah.
probably get on to some more. Well, we could probably wrap this up here. It's been over
It's
2 hours.
it's pretty much my YouTube machine, my video
Right.
maker, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I need to get a new machine here. I've been working towards it. I got so
Mind
much
you,
shit I got to deal with.
I'm one of those budgets, but it works, man. I like it.
No, I hear you, man. That's the thing is I got like 20 things I got to do, and I got to save up money to do all 20 of those things, and I don't have $20,000 to do it with, you know. So I hear you.
Yeah, this laptop, if I would have bought the ones that they're making new, just like this one, Low price is 1,200. High price, I think, is $3,000.
Yeah, I went and bought an HP from Walmart about a year or so ago for working on Midnight's Edge stuff. It was one of the worst mistakes I ever made. I should have just had somebody build one for me, because I can't find the parts for it. I need a new fan, and every fan I buy just don't fit it, and I don't get it. I've looked everywhere. I've typed in everything I can, everything I can think of that's on the fan, the size, no matter what I do, it's either just that there's just something off about it. It's really stupid. But anyhow, I suppose Snyder Cut. Everybody's bringing up Snyder Cut. Don't get us started on the Snyder Cut. Good God.
Release Snyder Cut.
I heard it's going to be out on February 30th.
Awesome.
So tomorrow.
Jason
wait.
Momoa told the same
There
thing.
is no 30th. That would be the first.
Yeah, I know it was a joke.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Still.
Yes.
Kirsty got it right away.
I sure did.
Yeah, I walked right into it. Hey, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at nothing, man.
As the old CCR song goes, tomorrow never comes.
Oh, yeah.
Tom, look on Goodwill auction. Goodwill auction. What am I looking for on Goodwill auction? Let me look back here. The Snyder Cut? I don't know about that.
I mean, if there's the whole Snyder Cut thing, everybody's just so passionate about it and everything. It's great. But me, I'm like, okay, y'all have fun. While I listen to Ryan and a couple of other guys just have at it on YouTube and Twitter, and I bring popcorn, and that's my entertainment.
I love their passion for it. I do, and I think that the fans of those films deserve it. I'm not a fan of those films, and I forgot all about that this week, but we're going to do it sooner or later with Ryan and Abu Nas and whoever else shows up. We're going to talk some DC. You reminded me of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everything got so crazy this week.
Zack Snyder skits into some skits with the Snyder Cut with Subway. So.
Oh God. They're now the latest thing is something like they were going to ban Joss Whedon from Subway or some shit.
Kind of. Like I've turned some of the release of Snyder Cuts into some skits.
But Stig's going to have to take off here. We're probably going to shut her down pretty soon anyway. So thanks for popping in, Stig. It's always fun when you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, and thank you to
Indeed,
everyone on the panel being good company.
And of course, Mary tries to keep us apart, so I got to do what I can.
Yeah.
Deal with sleeping.
Yeah. But, shenanigans later tonight, though.
That is very true. So I'll see you there, sir.
Take care and be well, all of you, and have a splendid weekend.
You too.
You as well.
Night.
Good night.
But yeah, I think why don't we everybody plug their channel, and maybe we'll check out Stig's channel. He doesn't have much on there, and he doesn't want people to subscribe, but
he has 6 minutes of content.
You know what? But it's amazing fucking content.
It's something.
I did promise everybody that other cartoon though, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I did, didn't I? God damn it. Should we do it? It is I think 5 or 6 minutes long. Or should we save it?
Up to you.
Up to you.
Oh, well, we'll get one in the chat. 1 to save it, 2 to show it. We'll give them a second to catch up here. But yeah, so check out Christy's channel. Tell them a little bit about what you do.
I literally do most of my channel. I just do live streams when I find time to get off work. And then my minute to minute and a half reviews or talking about something that I do this stuff for fun. It's just great to have all the different interaction and have difference of opinion. But at the end of the day, you could still, for the most part, still be civil with each other, even if it's just on the internet and you never meet face to face.
There you go. All right, so Rookie Critic, tell the folks a little bit about yourself and where they can find you.
Alrighty, well, yeah, I'm at the Rookie Critic, and I am trying to get through watching some classic popular films because I only recently got into film big time, so I'm trying to catch up on all the classics. Tom has joined me on literally most of my journey here, watching some of these: Alien, Karate Kid, Die Hard, Jaws, all that stuff. Watching me grow, being a little sensei in a way, Miyagi. And over on my channel, I try to. I want to be a film director someday, so I'm working through it. You're watching me grow as I learn things. I like to do skits, movie reviews, learn as I go, all that fun stuff.
Movie here, movie here, movie never here.
Indeed, over there for sure. Tomorrow.
Wax on, wax off. Anyway, Bear Nerd Fun. Tell them where they can find you. And I think we got a bunch of twos. Wasn't that me showing it?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a lot of
Okay.
dude.
All right, we'll let Bear plug his channel, and then we'll show the cartoon. I promise.
All right, well, you can find me at Bear Nerd Fun, exclamation point. Now, if you search that, the first 6 things will be about my channel in a search.
There you go.
Yeah, that's where you'll find me. And you'll find me on the Fourth Wave show on author Stephen
Absolutely.
Walton's channel. And that's Saturday and Wednesdays, and we alternate channels.
And you'll also
Sporky-
find the Immortal Coil on there, who keeps bopping in and out of here too.
yeah,
By the way,
yeah, you'll find Immortal Coil on there. You'll find the Final Death Star, Sporking Podcast News, and of course, Author Stephen Walton.
I even
And,
pop in from time to time.
also, the Fourth Wave Late Edition took a little break. Well, it's back. It will be alternating from my channel to the other guy's channel here and there,
All right.
periodically.
So do check out Bear Fun Nerd Fun, and also the other channels he mentioned, the author Stephen Walton's channel, and as well, and check out Immortal Coil and everybody else, Stig, of course. But all right, I got this ready now. We're gonna do this. Make sure I share the audio and all that good stuff. This is the last of these. This is the last one I did before I moved on to other things. So here we go.
Awesome.
This is it, folks. Hope you enjoy it. I gotta mute my thing here.
A really soft comment. Oh no, Blackie number 3, be nice to Blackie Jr. Hey, Smokey, you need to share that toy with your sister. What the fuck, dude? This place smells like cat piss. Oh. Seriously, dude. I counting like 12 more than there was last time. Where do you keep getting these fucking cats? I'm so sick of all these cats. Except for that one. I kind of like that one. And those two are fucking. They're not even kittens. No, they're not. They're just plain leapfrog. Silly cats. You know, I've been in the Slashers Anonymous thing for a while, and I've managed not to fall into any of the Doc's tropes. Frederick, would you like to share anything with the class today? Nope. Are you sure you wouldn't like to talk about your mother, Frederick? Nice try, Doc. Anything you'd like to add, Frederick? Perhaps about your father? Not gonna happen. Frederick, would you like to talk about your childhood? Sorry. I'm cool. I mean, I really have nothing to complain about in my life except for what I have to talk about today. And it's real embarrassing, and I'm real nervous, but I just can't deal with these cats anymore. Jason's driving me nuts. Look, Doc, he keeps bringing in cats. I can deal with his other bullshit any day of the week. And you know I don't come to you with any kind of trouble. So you gotta help me here. What the fuck do I do about all these goddamn cats? Yes, Frederick, I completely understand. And it's okay. It's okay to open up and let go. That's what we're here for. Now, as far as your issue, it's the kittens and Jason. I have a feeling this is rooted in Jason's issues with his mother. So what are you saying? Should I cut their fucking heads off or what? No, I don't suggest that. I just suggest that you taking this into consideration and perhaps help Jason find mothers for the kittens, and that will clear up your kitten issue, perhaps. the doctor gave me the bestest idea ever. And that is, I'm going to start an organization to find kitty mamas for all the baby kitties in my apartment. And my roommate, Fred's going to help me. Huh? What the fuck? I didn't agree to that shit. What the fuck is all this shit? You know, those guys that have been filming the documentary thing at Slashers Anonymous? Well, they're going to help us make a commercial. Oh, yep. Yep. What the fuck you're going to help me write it? And you're going to be my director. Because you're so bossy and good at it. You're right about that. Just do the lines as I wrote them. Quit making your own notes. Oh. Yeah, let's get the shit over with. Action or whatever. Hi, my name is Jason. You can call me Jay. I like that. That's cool. You're a dumbass. I'm here today to tell you about an epidemic that is taking over our entire country. And that is the motherless kitten epidemic. Dumbass. There are hundreds of motherless kittens out there. And we're hoping there are hundreds of kittenless mothers as well. So we can match them up. In the meantime, we would like your donations to build a motherless kitten zoo. No. Yes, a motherless kitten zoo for all the motherless kittens. And you can help us. And it's tax deducible. Deductible. How did you ever talk me into this shit? Please donate today. We will have a fundraiser in the park tomorrow at 3 p.m. Be there. Or be square. Well, yes, you fucking wrote that. I did. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. All right. I get ready now. Here we go. Yeah. Come on, let's get together, all you sisters and brothers. We got to give to these kids without mothers. They don't have homes to go home to. Won't you please give me some money for my motherless kitten zoo? Oh, motherless kitten zoo. Let's get together, all you sisters and brothers. We got to give to these kids without mothers. They don't have homes to go home to. So won't you please give me some money? Won't you please give me some money? I need some money to build the zoo. Oh, a motherless kitten zoo for you, yeah. Thank you. Wow, I'll admit, that tune wasn't half bad. Still doesn't matter. We're not keeping the fucking cats. We're not building some
I'll
zoo.
take a motherless kitten.
Yeah, well, I'll take one too.
I'll take a motherless kitten.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad all my kids found nice homes. Yeah, me too. Now, hopefully, we can get that fucking smell out of the house. Look who I saved, though. Oh, what? Oh, that's the one I like? That's kind of cool. It's Rover 3. That's a really fucking stupid name, dude.
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was awesome.
All right. Take care, everybody. Good night. Thanks for joining us.